Greetings. And welcome to House of R, a Ringerverse podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. I'm Mallory Rubin. She's Joanna Robinson. And Friend of the Pod Month would not have been complete without Jason fucking Mantzoukas.
Let's go.
Let's
I'm
go.
setting the tone. We're getting this done. Shorzy style.
Shorzy reference right away. I love it.
Would you say he's the friend of the pod? This is
No
our
question.
last Friend of the Pod month
No
episode.
question.
Oh, am I the last?
are.
Oh, wow.
You
What
won't
an
be
honor.
the
Yes,
last
so on.
guest in the history of the podcast unless
No.
something goes
Yes.
really wrong today, which
But
don't,
for
don't
this
rule it out.
inaugural Friend of the Pod month,
You are
right.
I'm honored to
The crowning
to,
achievement.
You're the
please be
closer.
batting cleanup.
Yeah.
Well,
To
we,
do a sports
we
reference.
both made a
Wow.
baseball reference. But
Did I
went
do
with,
it right?
I went with closer, which I think is slightly more
It
appropriate
is?
than
Okay.
batting cleanup,
But
but I
what
think
I
that's also
What I
acceptable.
was promised is that you don't care for sports.
I hate sports.
Great. Human
Here's my deal. Where's my camera? Right there. Right there.
All of
I
them.
hate sports.
They're all yours.
Not interested. Ringer.com.
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned a hockey show.
Yeah.
And you've made a batting cleanup reference.
God damn it. I fucked it up already.
I can't wait to see how you incorporate the NBA Finals into the discussion today.
Are they happening right now? And I don't know. I couldn't tell you which teams are in the NBA Finals if it's
You
happening.
must
Knicks?
have enough Knicks fans in your life.
The Knicks.
Oh, I know the Knicks are a thing.
Oklahoma
City?
is City.
Yeah.
Thunder.
Yeah, that's right. The Thunder.
Wow.
Look at you.
They're doing. Don't, Joanna. Don't.
I know you're a Spurs.
Do not
you're a Spurs fan
become
because
a
of
sporto.
Wemby. Because Wemby is a fantasy literature nerd. So
Oh.
the Spurs are a part of your life because of Wemby.
I do know that Wemby showed up to a game wearing a garment last night.
That he did.
That's all I know.
He sits down in the locker room. He reads like Brandon Sanderson.
Wow.
We're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about season 1 of Spider-Noir. We're going to talk a little Frieren. You're going to recommend some other anime to us that you
Let's
think
do
we should
it.
check out. Honestly, I don't really know what we're going to talk about today.
Listen,
It could
I'm a
go anywhere.
53-year-old man with a Crunchyroll subscription. I have no children and things are going great.
You're home. This is where you belong.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
We can't wait to get into it. We will do that right after this.
Do-do-de-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
This episode of House of R is presented to you by Target. Calling all trainers. The Pokemon and Target collection celebrating 30 years of Pokemon is almost here, and the lineup is kind of incredible.
A few are sure to be fan faves. Pokemon starter jackets, mystery water-type Pokemon bottles, and even caboodles.
Which feels perfect because Pokemon has always been about sharing the adventure. And Target is bringing fans together to celebrate that spirit.
The first drop is in store May 2nd, online May 3rd.
With the second drop, June 6th.
Explore now at Target.com.
Programming reminders.
Yeah.
Quick ones. What's coming next week? 2026 Summer Hype Meter, which, let's just say it. Quickly take people behind the curtain here. I'm going to be in Sweden next week. I will not be in the country. We thus
Wow.
recorded the 2026 Summer Hype Meter. Not
Several-
a day early, not half a day
Several
early.
days ago.
A full week early.
Yeah.
Multiple trailers have been released since we recorded it, which we knew
It is
would
already
happen.
quite stale.
There are allusions on the podcast like, hey, they're probably going to drop a House of the Dragon season 3 trailer, aren't they? Hey, we'll probably learn something about X-Men 97 season 2, won't we?
Don't
Guess
worry
what?
about
All
it.
of that happened.
Don't worry about it.
I think the order remains the same. Though.
Our innocence is preserved in amber.
There you go.
know?
Was there any kind of, well, Mal, I'll just ask,
Yeah.
how well behaved were you in the hype draft?
I'd say that I've mellowed in my old age.
Oh,
I
okay.
think,
Yeah.
I think that I on a
You didn't
recent,
go after anybody or take it personally?
Well, this is the meter.
the meter
more,
is calm.
yeah.
In the hype draft, I think I was pretty well behaved this
Okay.
year.
You
On
were.
the big pick Star Wars draft recently, I was well behaved for I'd say 80% of it. And then
That's
when
not
I
what
was
any of the clips
when
I
I
was,
was
served
not
told me.
allowed at the end to select
I was not
3PO
allowed
as
at
a
the end
Skywalker
is a
family
real
member,
issue.
which is like ludicrous.
Mhm.
And then it really
3PO
yeah,
is not a sky. Wait,
of course he
what?
is.
Thank
Of course
you.
he is.
What
And
are,
then-
we, what are we talking about?
and then-
You tried to draft 3PO,
Hold on.
R2D2, absolutely.
Well, I tried to do R2 and 3PO both. And
Well-
then I tried to make the case for both. Then I tried to do midichlorians as Anakin's father. And then
Wow.
I eventually had to take Shmi. It was a whole thing.
you
But
took
I
Shmi?
had no
landed with
choice. I had
Shmi.
waited till the last round.
Oh,
But
God.
let me throw this one nugget at you.
How many of
Han
our
Solo
podcasts
was
are we going to spend relitigating?
All of them.
Did anybody get Cobb Vanth?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because then Joanna and Damon Lindelof and I did on our Mando Grogu primer a mini draft, a duos draft, Star Wars duos draft. And 3PO and R2 were just waiting for me in the 4th round. Yeah. But I didn't take them, I think because of PTSD.
Yeah, that's why.
And then ended up at the
or
very
a better
end,
drafter got them. I don't know. Something happened.
Having to take Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, which it really all
Someone took R2 and
me.
C-3PO and then won the vote by...
I had won 4 drafts in a row across podcasts.
Oh, but you're not keeping track.
But I've lost a couple in a row now, and I think it's good. It's good for
you think it's good to be humbled?
It's good for me to stay in tune. With my limitations as a drafter.
You were very cool about me winning that draft.
I think you crushed it. You crushed it. You crushed it. It's easier to lose by like 70%, which is what happened. Then what I have a hard time with is if I lose by like 2% and I then actually, though I did tell you I couldn't sleep for 2 nights after the draft, which was true.
Why? She's doing fine. She's doing
fine. What were you because of the 3PO
Because I took R2 and C-3PO out from under her.
Because I had taken Hera and Kanan as my love interest, which is a pick I
love that.
Like, you were not going to do that.
I was not going to do that.
And so they would have made it back to me on the turn.
Wait a minute.
Like,
you took them as your love pick instead of the Duchess Satine and Obi-Wan?
Obi was off the board because I had taken him and Anakin, and but it had all gotten away from me.
I got Han and Leia in the first round, and then it was just kind of over.
That's pretty good,
honestly. So.
That's pretty good. But I do think the Kanan and Hera is dynamite.
No, great. It's a great
thrilling.
pick.
They would have been there for me at the end.
Yeah.
Instead, I had to pick Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth at the end.
As a romantic couple?
No.
By the way, we all want it. We're shipping that.
Cobb Vanth with anything, honestly.
You know, their first meeting was very flirtatious.
Oh, it was.
There's some crackling energy there.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
It's electric.
Who doesn't love a slow saunter?
What
about out of the distance?
A healing fuck in the Bacta tank? Why not?
Oh, yeah. When Cad Bane, and I'm going to say
Is
this.
that like fucking in a hot tub? But
it's bad. It's bad for you. You get a bunch of chlorine up in there.
So.
You're definitely going to need antibiotics afterwards.
But you're in a Bacta tank, so it's all healing in real time. It's almost like getting stabbed by a lightsaber. It's cauterizing. The damage and the healing are taking place all at once.
Mallory's review is getting fucked in the Bacta tank.
Why not? I would try it. I would try it at least once.
I would try it.
Anything once.
I would try it at least once. I'm so glad you're on the record.
Yeah.
That's the pull quote. Would try it. Fucking in the Bacta tank at least once.
If the Bacta tank is rocking, don't come a knocking.
Or
sloshing.
When Cobb Vanth showed up in that episode, when Cad Bane showed up in that episode to gunsling with Cobb Vanth, when Cad Bane was walking down in live action, I stood up and started screaming.
You clapped. You cried.
I cried. I was like, it's Cad Bane! It's Cad! Again, I'm at that point a 50-year-old man alone in my house screaming. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I wish we could have been on to talk about Maul. I loved the pods about Maul. I loved Maul.
It was so good.
It was great. It was so great to be back with him. I loved all the cast of characters around it. I know we're not here to talk about Maul. We're here to talk about Spider-Noir, but I fucking loved Maul because all I want is smaller, self-contained stories inside this world.
Get the Skywalkers out of there, man.
Get these fuckers out of here.
It's
done.
The canon and out of the drafts.
The Skywalkers, here's my larger...
Hit us.
The Skywalkers are the baby boomers. It's time to go.
Time to die.
It's time to go. It's over. You had your moment. We're done with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Move on.
Are you going to Gen X? Are you going to is it Gen Alpha's time in Star Wars?
Gen X simply does not want to be involved.
Nope. Yeah, as a proud member of Gen X, I'm shocked I'm even here.
We'll have you back for Maul season 2.
Oh, but I would love it. Please.
We can't wait for that show.
I would love nothing more.
Do you think that Spybot lives on in the cloud?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That was a tragic one.
Sam Witwer kind of told us as much.
Yeah.
Doesn't Spybot remind you of the assassin who wore the hat that looked like Spybot?
Yes.
What was that guy's name?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
In Mando Grogu. Yeah.
Embo.
Embo. And his ship looks like his hat.
And
his hat looks
kept
like a shield.
that guy was going to show up as Spybot's operator.
Yeah.
Or some version of that.
You haven't seen Mandalorian and Grogu yet.
I have not seen Mandalorian and Grogu yet.
So you claim.
No, and I am being honest. I would tell you. I anticipate not liking it, in all honesty. Or I anticipate
there will be
having
things in it you like,
and
you'll have notes.
I anticipate having a struggle with it, but I also don't think it's for me. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. The stuff that I don't like about Star Wars, and I love all Star Wars. Boy, am I so happy we're still in these stories.
Yeah.
It's not for me. But what I love, I love. Yeah. And when it fails me...
And Maul's for you.
Maul, dynamite. Loved every goddamn minute of it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Same. Can't wait for season 2. I love Star Wars animation.
What else is coming up?
Hype Meter is Tuesday, I think. And then you will be doing, at the end of the week, a Lestat primer with some friends.
Fictional bands.
Yep. Love this.
Rishi Hirway and Jess McKenna are coming to talk about fictional bands.
I love this because and I'm going to have a callback for that in a little bit.
Oh, look at you.
Look at
Are
that.
you in Interview with the Vampire Watcher?
I am not an Interview with a Vampire Watcher, but you have gotten me so close so many times that I do feel like there's going to come a moment when I don't have something that's one of my shows, and I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, this. And I'm going to be obsessed. The way you talk about it, I know I'm going to like it. You know, I just got to get into it.
I watched the first 2 seasons for Jo for gift swaps and made her watch Landman and Fire and Ash in exchange.
Landman.
Avatar.
Welcome to, I'm out on Avatar, but boy, I'm all in on Landman.
Landman
Even after
is the
season
text
2?
of our time.
Especially
Even
because
more
of
so after
season 2.
season 2.
If
Did you watch season 2?
No.
Are you aware that Billy Bob's character fucks an omelet at one point?
Yeah. Are you aware that
very point
yes.
noise
How
complaint?
literally are we talking about?
Well,
sticks his dick in an omelet.
Yeah, it is pretty clear.
I don't think to completion.
No, and we don't watch
For
him.
pleasure?
There is, no, kind of to make a point.
To make a point,
I think.
To like stunt on someone. He's like, I put my dick in your omelet.
It was his omelet.
Yeah, it was his omelet, yeah.
Landman.
To even try and explain it, you're like, wow, they really did it. They really did a thing. And I would say if Landman season 3 doesn't feature Billy Bob in the car rolling calls more, I'll be furious.
And they all have to
because
be
that's what
FaceTimes.
80% of season 2 is.
Did we go to Michael's this season? Drunkenly go to Michael's, which was my favorite part, as you know, of season 1 when Ali Larder got drunk on margaritas and went to get Michael's.
They didn't.
Product placement for Michael's.
No, they didn't.
No.
But where did they go? They did go someplace to do something with the old people again.
Was it because Strip Club was also season 1?
Yeah, they love the old people storyline in Landman is so nuts.
A lot of the old person focus of Landman, though, it shifted not only to the home front.
Yeah.
But to the pool in the backyard.
Yes. Sam Elliott getting like aqua therapy cradled by a woman in the pool.
Who Billy Bob had found.
I regret to inform you, I'm back in.
You're back in.
At
Welcome.
A strip club and said,
the pool water is
warm.
How
does the mustache look in the
Great.
pool?
Oh my God, resplendent. And he spends most of the season watching the sunset.
Yes.
The worst mistake they made in Justified is when Sam Elliott showed up without the mustache.
Yep.
And you're like, what's the point?
I quite agree.
What
you can't shave the mustache, you can't. So you're going to do the Lestat pad, then we're going to have a Disclosure Day pod. And then it's just basically House of the Dragon time. After that, we'll have a couple other things, but
Plus
we are
Lestat.
not Lestat premiere, of course. We're not far away from Hot D season 3. You excited?
Not really.
Oh boy,
that's what we're hearing. That's the word on the street.
I'm not.
The word on the street.
All right. Did the trailer today? Did you watch the trailer today?
I did not.
Okay. I'm wondering if there will be an uptick in hype from today's trailer.
Did Night of the Seven Kingdoms make you more hype or less hype?
Less hype because I enjoyed it so much for the simplicity of its storytelling that, again, kind of like what I'm talking about with Star Wars, inside of, and I'm not a Game of Thrones reader, to be clear. So I exclusively understand it through the shows. And Night of the Seven Kingdoms just crushed it. And then I went and listened to the audiobook of all of the novellas, which were dynamite.
Yeah.
And made me so excited for the rest of it. House of the Dragon is so sprawling and so big, and it's just hasn't hooked me in the same way. I'll watch it. I'll get around to watching it, but I will not be like, oh, it's on. Good. Boom. Every Sunday night or whatever. You know, like I don't think it's going to be dominant.
Damn it.
We'll see.
I'm holding
I feel the same about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, rather. Yeah. Both of them have just lost me enough that it isn't like week to week I'm kept up. In other words, you know, I'll do it, but they're not like, ooh, I gotta go.
We have to start potting about Landman so that Mantzoukas keeps listening to us.
I know, you're not going to listen to us at all.
By the way, I still listen. I'm listening to you guys talk about, you guys are spoiling shows that I'm then watching weeks later, but I don't care.
I love it.
I also don't care about spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, it must be hard in your
I'm not I don't.
You're an actor.
Yeah, what's the point?
You're in the industry.
Yeah, it's what do we're allowed to hear. Part of the reason I used to like watching stuff was because I would hear people describe it, or I would read a review that described it or whatever. Like I should be allowed to know what happens in these things.
I just don't understand. Like for those of us who love to like read the book and then watch the thing that's based on the book, that's essentially a spoil. Like it doesn't change it for me.
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, me neither. I think a lot of listeners feel differently about it.
Do.
So I'm always
they're
very
fucking babies.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning for today. all of Spider-Noir season 1, because this dropped as a binge on MGM and then Amazon. So this is on Prime Video on Amazon. The whole first season is
MGM, a real platform that exists.
MGM Plus?
Yeah.
MGM Plus.
I've got it. Don't worry.
2 days before.
Yeah, don't worry. I've got it
Amazon.
for SAS Rogue Heroes.
Yes.
One of my all-time favorite Stephen Knight shows.
You guys in CR love Rogue Heroes. I know that about all three of them. I have not seen the show.
Baby.
Oh, the best.
I have not seen the show.
It's great.
He was in the
Patella.
Binge-Miss movie that I watched.
Yes,
to do a Binge-Miss
Tom
with Jody.
Tom Glencarney, your guy.
That's right.
It's a good group.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's a great cast, and the show is a blast.
Maybe there will be Rogue Hero spoilers today. There will definitely be Spider-Noir spoilers because the entire season is fair game for our discussion today. Later today, we're going to talk about Frieren.
Yeah.
So I think that because we have not finished, the spoilers will be a little lighter there. They will probably be more like premise.
Here's what I'll say. And
spoilers.
This is just true of anime.
Yeah.
They tell you the whole thing in the opening song.
Yeah.
The opening credit song is always like, here's the story we're about to tell you. It's
banger
sad.
that opening credit
always.
song is.
And every season it changes.
Incredible.
It's great.
Yeah. Incredible. So we're going to talk about all of that today. What else might we spoil? What do you think?
Oh, I suspect we'll talk about the Spider-Verse movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So those I'm sure, all of Spider-Man's, all of
anything Spider-Man,
some comics canon,
comics canon. Although I looked into Spider-Man or Spider-Noir comics. There weren't a ton, and I didn't dig too deep.
Me neither.
If I'm being honest.
Great.
So no Spider-Noir comics.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any comics canon being spoiled.
Sadly, I would have loved something that had a heavier comics lift to talk comics.
Yeah.
But I didn't find much that was super compelling.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's swing into Spider-Noir season 1. What is your history with this character? Jason, let's start with you.
So it is simply from the Spider-Verse movies. Yeah. Truly, this was my introduction, as I suspect it was for all of us, or for most people. And I loved it. Loved what a great character establishment in that first movie. To all of the characters, to be introduced to that group of characters and then have one of them be not just a noir, black and white, all the archetypes and tropes of a noir story, but have it be voiced by Nick Cage, who is maybe, for me, pound for pound, one of the most interesting, most bizarre, most captivating actors that we have. Yeah. I do a podcast called How Did This Get Made? And for 15 years, we've been covering terrible movies that are so bad you have to watch them. Yeah. And when I tell you we've done probably 20 Nicolas Cage movies,
I'm sure.
It's nuts.
There was that run of time where he was trying to pay off his massive debt, where he did like 5 VOD movies a year.
And we covered a lot of them. Season of the Witch. We're talking The Wicker Man, although that's not exactly just for money. But, there's a ton of stuff.
There's a ton you've never heard of that Nick Cage did. Speaking of, can I tell my origin story with Jason?
Of course.
So, yes. We've never potted before.
That's right. This is the first time the three of us have potted
I was working at Vanity Fair and I got a pitch to talk to Jason Mantzoukas, who is one of my favorite podcasters because I was an absolute How Did This Get Made obsessive. But you're trying to be a professional journalist, right? So Jason gets on the line and I'm just interviewing him about the project that he was working on. And I didn't say anything about being a fan of yours because I was trying to be cool and professional. Meanwhile, I'm internally freaking out. And then right towards the end, Jason's like, I just want to let you know, Joanna, I listened to your podcast. And I was like, I listened to your podcast. And he was like, too late. I said it first.
There you go.
Now it just sounds like you're saying it because I said it. And I was like, God damn it. Anyway, so that's the first time I talked to you.
And that was your, was the first time I think I heard you was the Dave Chen Cast of Kings podcast that I listened to all the time.
Yeah.
During that era.
Many years ago. This was many years ago. Yeah.
And then we met at ATX Festival.
Because I was moderating that league panel. Yeah. And then you're like, can I hug you? And I was like, yes.
It was
anyway.
really great.
And
really,
here you are.
And here we are podcasting together. It only
took Spider-Noir.
Yes. It only took another 12 years probably to get us here.
Thanks,
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
What can't that man do?
I mean, quite a bit, actually.
And that might come up today.
And I think we found some of the limitations, maybe.
Yeah, we might have. Do you feel like in the scene inside of the show when he is in the movie theater eating a hot dog, watching James Cagney, just muttering the lines back, which we later find out is how he learned how to be human again after being bitten by man spider or whatever it was.
Yep.
Do you feel like that's just documentary footage of Nick Cage at the movie theater?
I'm certain he made them do the whole, make sure we're watching this scene.
Yeah.
And he is so, there's a great, it might be Vanity Fair, it might be one of the magazines that does the, an actor breaks down their roles.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he did one, this is some years ago, and he's going through, and what's wonderful about Nicolas Cage is like, he's such a chaotic and crazy and unpredictable actor in all of the best ways and frankly, all of the worst ways.
Yeah.
But to hear him talk about his process for so many of these bananas characters, you are like, oh, there is not just a method to his madness, but there is madness to his method.
Yeah.
It is
I love it.
fascinating to watch. I very much think people should watch it just to get insights into the fact that he's talking about like, whatever movie, crazy, dumb, Gone in 60 Seconds or Con Air, but he's like talking about Brecht.
A couple classics.
But even like it could happen to you, and he's like, well.
Yeah.
It's
what was
great.
the quote he had that was making its way around about this? I think it was from the Esquire feature. And he was like, 70% Humphrey Bogart, 30% Bugs Bunny.
Yes. That's great.
I believe was
it's in there. Absolutely.
Incredible.
Not to say like cite multiple interviews I did when I worked at VF, but I one time I did interview Nicolas Cage about some terrible VOD movie that he made that no one saw. And I was asked, because I was asking him about comic books, but I think he thought because he was talking to someone at Vanity Fair that I was like making fun of him for comic books, which of course I would never. I was genuinely curious to talk to him about comic books. And he's like, I'm not just sitting here with my tray of lemon cookies and my glass of milk reading comic books all the time. And I was just like,
first of all,
I am.
That sounds great.
But I was like, that's so specific. So you certainly are. Like you definitely are. But also that was not an insult to ask you about comic
what
books.
An
You named your
way to
son
spend an afternoon.
Kal-El. Like I know this about you, and I think
yeah.
it's cool and weird. But like, yeah, he was like, I'm not sitting here with my tray of lemon cookies, and I was like, well, we should all be sitting here with our.
I wish there was a tray of lemon cookies right now.
I agree.
So he's a lemon cookies guy. Sansa's a lemon cakes girl.
Sure.
It's amazing how much lemon-based, zesty baked goods come up here on this podcast.
Two examples.
Twice. Can you think of any others?
We'll put one in here.
We'll think of one by the end of the day. I think.
Comedy rule of three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joe, same for you? Spider-Verse, any other history with Spider-Noir as a character? Spider-Verse movies. Yeah, same. And I think we all like, it was such the Spider-Verse films in general, obviously just wonderful. We adore the two that we've gotten so far. Can't wait for the third. I think that even by the standard of loving the first movie, Spider-Noir like really popped for people.
Oh, I feel like, especially, it's so fun to play with those tropes. It's so fun to be inside of when he's not in we'll talk about it in this show, but especially in that movie, in those two movies, it's a blast to have like a hard-boiled, detective roaming around and he's perfect for it.
Yes. And the idea in the Spider-Verse films of like put this mashup of fully realized, utterly specific, unapologetic comics energy where you get this like tapestry of all these different figures who are there to be for 30 seconds, 75 seconds, whatever it is. The most diluted, distilled version of that comics character. And then it's like, well, that was super fun. What will it be like over 8 episodes of a standalone series built around this character, right?
Yeah.
That's the question. So I remember when this was announced, I was like, very hyped, genuinely very hyped. A lot of questions, which I think was where we all were for a little while. Opening snapshot, overall take here. How did you actually find season 1 of Spider-Noir?
Boy, so speaking of Bugs Bunny, I found it's a tough one for me because there's a lot of stuff that I really liked and really enjoyed. For me, I will say it's a little bit of, there is simultaneously somehow I made a note in here, too much going on and also not enough for me to do 8 one-hour episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think it should have been a great movie.
It should have been a movie and or a series of episodes that added up to movie length.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it should have been shorter and told a one thrust of a story.
Yeah.
There was too much going on, too many things, and it was also not enough of an understanding of what story I was being told.
Right.
So I was getting lost, and then I didn't get back into it and enjoy it. And there was, I think, great set pieces. There was a lot of incredibly fun stuff, great performances. I really enjoyed it, but it wore out its welcome a little bit. And I'd say the second half, I found myself checking my phone a little bit or not as invested, I'll say. And I watched it, I should say, as a binge. I watched it all at once in within 48 hours.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing.
I did the same, and I feel like it was a mistake. Like perhaps the back half wouldn't have felt so tedious to me to a certain degree if it had felt fresher and I wasn't like 4 hours into my experience already. I think the cast is incredible.
Yeah.
Like to get Brendan Gleeson here, just
Amazing.
like doubling it up, like incredible.
Yeah.
I was spoilers, right? I was excited and then sad because I was like, Lucas Haas finally gets to do something so cool, and then he was gone.
Winston.
Jack Houston is addicted to us not seeing his beautiful face all the time. Boardwalk Empire.
That surprised me.
I know.
Very similar kind of a
very
role,
similar,
or an external for the role.
Yeah.
Lee Jun Lee has been like loved her in Babylon, loved her in Sinners. Like she's on a real role in terms of stuff. So like I get like Amy Aquino here, like absolute stage legend here for an episode or two to play the Doctor. So like just an incredible
Lamorne Morris.
Lamorne is like Lamorne is the show for me.
It's
honestly,
great.
at the end of the day.
Fantastic.
Well, that's the show I kind of am more curious about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lamorne, like however tired I got at the end, I was always invested in what Lamorne's character, like what Joe Robbie Robertson was doing, and also Janet Ruiz's character.
Robbie and Janet
character,
were
like
so
terrific.
great.
Robbie and Janet like kind of were the show for me. Nick Cage is so fun, and then I feel like towards the back half, or I was just a little tired. It felt like any leash came off of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like he needs that leash on him
in
order for us to enjoy.
Or he doesn't.
That's the thing.
Because I will say,
if
without those moments of true bananas Nick Cage,
No.
I think I might have liked it even less.
No. I mean, I think the physical, like when he's like doing his spider shit,
incredible.
Like
when he's doing his spider shit,
I loved that.
So funny. My God, it feels that's you know what, and I wonder what you guys think about this. I kept being like, ooh. Especially in those moments, or in the moment where in the flashback when he's like finds out the webbing is coming from his body, and all that body horror stuff. I was like, oh, I wish they'd given Sam Raimi this.
Mm.
I wish Sam Raimi had been in charge of this property and this Spider-Man, because boy, would that be interesting. Because I think Raimi, especially too, loves this era of filmmaking. This is Sam Raimi, like when he's with the Coen brothers era Sam Raimi. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of this movie that has like Miller's Crossing mapped onto it.
Yeah.
Where Brendan Gleeson is the Albert Finney character and Cage is the Gabriel Byrne character.
He did Darkman, which is like essentially
perfect. Great. Exactly. And that, I was like, ooh, I would love a Sam Raimi noir working with Nick Cage. That it would be very interesting to me, because that I think would have made it feel a little bit more layered or deeper or something. A little bit, it felt broad strokes at times, like just noir broad strokes.
Yeah. Absolutely. I had a lot of fun with it. I watched it over a couple days, so I was able to space out the episodes a little bit, which I think maybe helped me avoid the feeling at the very end. Like I was like, boy, I have to like get through this. Because actually, I think the back half of the season, I actually enjoyed more than the front of the season. Like I think once we got some of the flashback clarity, and then mostly because I loved Robbie and Janet so much, I think mostly when the three of them all got to really interact in the primary story together, that was just like such a treat and such a thrill. And particularly like when Nick Cage just went nuts in episodes 7 and 8. That was when I was having the best time and laughing the most. And I was like in the beginning of the season having a good time and enjoying it, but not laughing at the oddity and specificity of the performance as much as I had anticipated. And so when some more of those like deliberate affectations started to surface, I was just like, I feel like I am watching the show that I thought I was going to be watching the whole time. So I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think what you guys said about what you were saying about just the pace and the flow over the season, and like that's I agree, Jason, with the observation that simultaneously there was like a lot going on in terms of moving pieces and parts, but then you have a little bit of this like ubiquity of all of the fights are going to end up being on like a street, in the old timey city, and like just I think the Silvermane part of it was a touch less interesting to me than some of the other strands of the story. So when it all kind of like oriented around that at the end, even though I liked those episodes quite a bit, it felt a little small. I think some of it also is just the kind of 2026, we are all watching comic book adaptations for the millionth time. And like you are like, okay, we've been talking about Tombstone coming in a movie this summer, and here's Tombstone, Sandman again, etc. But that's just part of it.
I didn't mind how small. I kind of liked it. It felt small and like contained and like felt like it was shot on a studio backlot. Like I kind of liked, to your point about Maul, like I just kind of liked that we were in this like very little world and this one mayoral race and this one, like all this sort of stuff is contained. I think what was really tough for me in the back, I think here's what it was. Nick Cage having the leash off, as you point out, is like always an exciting time. This guy they got with love and respect to play Megawatt was so aggravating to me.
Oh, why? Did you feel like he made big choices that couldn't be backed up?
I felt like you
Wild
could not
stuff.
put both of those energies in the same stretch of episodes, and for me to like vibe with it.
Everybody needs to do that. Or everybody else needs to match them because they are very vividly in
the
comic book.
Yeah.
They are in, not just comic book, but also the rat-a-tat-tat, 30s, 40s noir. Yeah.
I had a hard time with him in his first couple episodes when he started to like be more fully incorporated into the main plot.
I was like, oh, we're sticking with this guy.
But I kind of loved it by the end, actually, because I don't know, there was just something so amusing about him, like the "Good Night, Sweet Prince" Hamlet quote at the end. I was like, this is
he was just Shakespeareing. He was
everywhere.
Yeah.
Fumbling Shakespeare the whole. Maybe that's what bothered me.
Yeah.
He was misquoting Shakespeare and it was bothering me.
But it's like amusing because he's a dipshit who thinks he's like, finally got the literal
I get the
lights all
joke.
around him. I thought it was amusing. And I like that he actually said to the other, to Flint, why are we listening to this guy?
Yeah.
Which felt like actually a necessary story beat for one of the guys with powers to say, like, why?
I love Jack Houston, but tracking Flint's like loyalty motif versus the love story with Kat versus
this is what I mean by like there's so much going on, but I'm not really invested in any of it, nor do I understand, nor am I clear what they want me, what do they want me to feel? Like who do they want me
Are we
to be
supposed to root for Kat
rooting
and
for
Flint?
Kat and Flint, or Kat and Ben, or Kat and Silvermane, or Kat on her own, or what, like, and I was like, and I kept being like, is this Kat Hardy going to be Felicia Hardy? Is this person going to be Black Cat? Is that what they're setting up here? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that I was like bringing comics lore to it and trying to figure out, are they trying to assemble the Sinister Six with all these guys? Okay, no, not really. And then all the flashbacks for me were hurting, not helping.
Same.
In a lot of ways. Especially because it just became... It putting them all together as if they fought at the same time in the same war really put into stark contrast just how much the age difference is between these guys. I mean, like Jack Houston and that crew are however old they are, mid to late 30s.
Yeah.
And Cage is like mid 60s.
He's like 62. So his like sort of floppy forelock flashback wig wasn't doing all the work.
Oh, you think that was a wig?
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, no, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Had you considered it? Perhaps? That's not his hairline?
So that's a wig.
Huh. Interesting.
You think Cage is wigging it up on this? No, that's interesting.
Oh, every day of his life, perhaps? Every time he leaves the house?
The wigs were nuts.
And particularly so in the, what did they call it? The true hue color?
Oh.
Unbelievable in the true hue color.
That's a good question.
So much better in black and white.
Did you guys watch black and white or color?
I watched black and white, and then Mal and I talked about it. I went back in and watched the last episode, a little bit of it in color, just to like see what it looked like.
I did the reverse. I watched a little bit of the first episode in color.
Okay.
Just because that's what it booted up initially.
Sure. Yeah.
And while I was trying to figure out how to,
dear God, make it stop.
How to watch it in black and white. I watched probably the first 10 minutes in color. And went to black and white and was glad I did, because I felt like black and white really
way better
covered for a lot of stuff that I think I would have been even more aggravated by.
Like the design on the henches, like your tombstones, your megawatts looked so good in black and white. I thought they looked incredible.
Great. I think that's part of why I liked the show so much, is the black and white was just such a specific and immersive like visual choice. And it obviously helps heighten not only the comic book palette, like this book has been drawn in the specific way with this artist's intention, but also obviously this is a 30s noir story. This is a crime story. This is a gritty pop your collar on your trench coat and we're going to go solve a crime. And to your point, Joe, like this neighborhood that feels like it has a sense of place, and this is the club we go to. I thought that the black and white really heightened all of that effectively. And like even stuff like, he's got the darker webs, the way that looked in the black and white, the way that the war goggles.
The goggles was such a good effect in black and white.
Incredible.
Like
glow.
Really simple stuff, like I thought played great in black and white.
Awesome.
And helped, I guess, plaster over some of the stuff that I think would have been just not as good or a little bit feeling like herky-jerky.
I wish they hadn't released it in color.
Well, why do you think, that's what I was just going to ask, is like, why do you think they did give people the choice?
I
they just think people weren't going to want to watch a black and white show?
I think there's a generational cutoff that does not watch black and white movies. They won't because they didn't ever. Mm-hmm. And so those movies are old, or what, like old, not like, sort of old. Like imagine you're born in the year 2000. Like a movie from the 40s, like to watch His Girl Friday or to watch Maltese Falcon or something is a crazy. I mean, these are the best movies ever made, but like a crazy thing to a kid. Yeah. So I think they want those kids watching this thing. So they got to put it in color, which is preposterous. Like it is against the entire ethos of the character.
Yeah. And I think especially because the show is really trying to say this is going to be its own thing. This like actually is, this like wouldn't belong in the MCU. Right. And we're not shying away from that. We're actually trying to like amplify and heighten that so that it feels like its own thing and its own distinct flavor and energy. Lean into that. Just say to people, if you want to watch it, you got to watch it in black and white. That's how it's supposed to look. It looks amazing. The color, I watched I did the same. I did the end of the season in color and the true hue at the end. And it was like not only not as gripping, it like looked kind of bad.
I assume,
it looked bad.
So
and it looked like way
strange.
cheaper.
Yeah, very strange.
Yeah, really tough.
Yeah, and it would get it. And it's I don't think it's successful as a movie necessarily, but Sin City to me was the movie that I kept thinking of. Both the comics and then the movie adaptation, because of that playing with the black and white like that with this kind of noir-y storyline. I was like, ooh, I wish this had a little bit more of the grittiness that Sin City had. Sin City just had, like, I just wish there had been more. It felt very clean.
Oh yeah,
in a way that I was like, where's the grime? Where's the grit? I wanted a little bit more of that.
Do you think on the grime grit front that you could get a syringe to go right through the soft spot of somebody's eye?
I thought that was, I loved that moment. I wanted more. That's a great example of a beat that I wanted more. And I loved specifically that Robbie did it.
Yes.
That it wasn't during a fight that Ben thought to do it. I loved that consistently throughout. Ben is bad at being Spider-Man, and that was satisfying.
Yes.
I think it was a smart move.
And I love, like, even so when you're watching his spider fight and fumble around or whatever, that's its own, and there's all this meta commentary of like, does he still have it? He still got it, like all this sort of stuff like that. But when you're watching Nick Cage fight, I was like, I like how believably sort of shambling and effortful it was for him. Like, I really liked that.
Hit the sweet spot of enhancing where this character is and the fact that he's been struggling with who he wants to be, the loss, the pain, the age, all of it, the fact that he's inverting and embracing with no power comes no responsibility. That's the thing he's championing without running afoul. It never tipped into De Niro and The Irishman, where you're like, wait, no, this just actually doesn't look like a thing that we.
Oh boy,
no, I agree.
We should be watching.
Yeah,
it was great. On the Nick Cage front, what else do we want to say about Nick Cage's Ben Reilly, the Spider?
I want to say this. One of my favorite things that happened throughout, and I love this in any sort of Private Eye show. This is like a classic Veronica Mars setup is I have to weasel my way into something. So I'm just going to pretend to be this, that, or the other thing.
Yes.
I just thought all of those sequences were really fun. And then
and it's so funny you said Veronica Mars because I wrote it in as a Gen X. I wrote it in mine is this Nicolas Cage's Fletch?
Yeah.
Because I was like, every time he has to get into knock on a door or do something, he's not doing it inexplicably. He could be Ben Reilly for all these interactions. No, these people don't matter to the story. Yeah. But he's still like, I gotta get into your apartment. Blah, blah, blah. Well, I guess I'm the plumber. And I was like, this is. And that this is Nick Cage showing up and being like, I'm doing this one like this. There's a great story about him getting cast in Green Hornet, the Seth Rogen Green Hornet movie. And insist to play the villain that eventually Christoph Waltz plays. But Nick Cage said, I will only do it if I can do it with dreadlocks and a Jamaican accent.
And Robert Pattinson is like, I'm going to bring this energy to a lot of things that I do. He's like, I saw what Gary Oldman did in True Romance, and that's got to be me.
I think Pattinson is cribbing off Gary Oldman and Nick Cage 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, what a beautiful stew.
What a Venn diagram of madness.
I love it.
The accent, like whatever our Pats is doing, whatever accent, whatever new voice he's doing in every project is so exciting. Specifically, he shows up, I forget which one it is, but he shows up and he does the Bette Davis, what a dump. And it made me laugh so hard. And I was just like, I feel like Nick Cage is just like, I'm going to cite this, I'm going to do this 1949 Bette Davis movie line right now. And I was just like,
he does it throughout. He references stuff throughout when he says, when he references, what movie does he reference and say it's still it's still playing right now? Maltese Falcon. I can't remember what movie he says. It's actually in theaters right now. And I was like, he is just, it's that improv rule of play to the height of your intelligence. Everything Nick Cage knows, Ben Reilly knows.
Yeah,
right.
Which is like
he has complete film history.
All that Turner Classic Movies has to offer. Do you think they should give Nick Cage his own TCM show?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
I would watch that. I mean, that's the move. Like, I want Nick Cage to have a movie podcast, a movie show, anything where he curates. And all I want is for Ben Mankiewicz to try and corral Nick Cage.
That's what I was going to say.
In talking
it's got to be
about,
Ben and Nick together.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And
Ben just like sweating and like pulling his collar open as he's trying to wrangle him.
As they're trying to introduce Asphalt Jungle.
It's like when, I forget, what was the name of the movie he did with Pedro Pascal? The like...
Yes. Not Dream Scenario.
No.
Not a heartbreaking work of staggering genius.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes.
When they're talking about the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and he's just like monologuing about it. I'm like, this is just Nick Cage talking about a movie that he loves.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And it's just, I would watch that Turner Classic Movie show every day.
Happily.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000,000%. That would be a blast because he is so smart and so interested and interesting that all I want to do is watch Nick Cage be curious about a thing and then execute on it. And that's what this, at the best, that's what this has all over it, is when he's doing Nick Cage stuff, when they let him loose,
so good.
It's electric. And it's nonsense a lot of the time. The crazy...
Oh, the I'm a spider, like
I'm
leg
a spider,
thing.
crickety-crackety, crickety-crackety, was worked for me every single time. And I was like, oh, I wish there was 30% more weird David Lynchy stuff going on. Like I kept being like, oh, I wish Werner Herzog or Lars von Trier directed this. I wish this was weirder is what I kept wanting. I kept wanting it to be actually as weird as Nicolas Cage rather than Nicolas Cage seeming like the weird thing, the weird thing in this slick noir pastiche.
That's why I wound up talking myself into more megawatts, actually.
Yeah.
So that everyone is in the
right
movie.
If everyone is megawatt,
everyone
maybe.
is in the right movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's like, getting drunk, getting plastered at the bar in episode
the bar fight
7,
was great.
Incredible
I
scene
love
with
that.
he's describing their appendages are rather like straws. Veritable party whistles. It's like this is cocaine. This is amazing.
The director of the last 2 episodes is Greg Yaitanes, who did some House of the Dragon and Presumed Innocent. And I really liked that he did a lot of like comic book, painting of the action.
Yes.
And then that bar fight is for a lot of it a oneer, and it's like a lot of wonders. I'm like, all right, we get it. But I thought that one was really good.
I thought it was really good. I agree. And not all the fight choreography worked for me, but this one did. And especially because it had it's just the entrance of him being in the bar, and these guys come in, they and then him just following him out.
Yeah.
And then he puts the thing on, then he walks back in. It's clearly him still. It's obvious to everybody that this is the guy who was just in here. And then the fight unfolds.
Yeah.
And that little setup of him being like, knowing he's got to put the mask on, but he's got a drunk, that was dynamite. And all Nick Cage being drunk acting, I'll watch forever.
Oh, yeah,
or
really
being
good.
on drugs acting, I'll watch forever.
Oh, Mandy, every time.
And he has to enter a place and do something very audacious, kind of for no reason. I think my favorite example of that was because he needs to get into his own apartment to get his suitcase. So he's like, he grabs the mop and he does it in an extra degree, but like he does have to pretend he's there with maintenance to infiltrate. Okay. When Dr. Faber catches him looking through the files in her office. And so he has to pretend he's a patient. Now, he does need a cover story for why he is behind her desk in the office. but the voice.
Yeah.
The specific story.
Oh.
The number of times he's like, floor 2?
Yeah.
Down on floor 2? I got to make sure Google map it for me. Like, it was
it's
dialed up to 1,000.
It's so crazy. And what's so weird about it is that's Nick Cage.
It's
Humphrey
no
Bogart
question.
would never do this. James
Bugs
Cagney
Bunny.
would never do this.
But
This is Bugs Bunny.
Okay,
This is the Bugs Bunny. You're right.
But I mean, I'm hopping ahead or whatever, but Lamar Morris, who again, like
So good.
every single second, so good. When he gets to do not just like a Nick Cage impression, but a Jimmy Cagney as Nick Cage impression, so funny. Like, I hope he had the best time of his life doing
Some of my favorite scenes were Nick Cage and the little kid Frankie.
Oh, Frankie. Yeah.
Frankie is executing like straight up Little Rascals energy throughout. And I was like, give me more of this.
Yeah.
Give me more of the like little kid street urchin.
My geometrics.
That was killing me.
Frankie and I would also watch a Frankie Janet spinoff just with their lessons.
Just them tutoring. Yeah.
Incredible. Let's talk more about Janet and let's talk more about Robbie and Frankie. If you like the supporting characters, the supporting heroes, because we're gonna hit villains separately.
Yeah.
This was definitely the highlight of the show.
Boy, wouldn't it have been great if The Office with them was the hub, was the center of the story?
My hope for season 2, like, because we end with Riley and Rui's investigations. I'm like, and I'm like, okay, Robbie's got a paper to run, and that's a large job. So I hope his paper goes well.
Not in today's world.
But I was like, I just want the 3. I was thinking a lot about. I've been bringing up Perry Mason a lot on podcasts for some reasons, but Perry Mason. It's Perry Mason, Della Street, his Girl Friday, essentially, and then Paul Drake, his investigator. And it's the 3 of them. And I was just like, that's the setup here. It's just like, you've got your investigative journalist and you've got your his Girl Friday, who also like knows how to sashay into a police station and get everyone to do what she wants to do. And like, I love the 3 of them.
And if you're going to do it this way, if you want 1 hour episodes or whatever, and you want 8 of them, don't make it one storyline.
Case of the week.
Right.
Make it either case of the week or every 2 episodes is a case.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why
so
I was
you
like
have
the Silvermane stuff, even though I love all those performers, that was where I started to feel
Silvermane isn't. Oh,
fatigue.
You know what it is? And I wrote this down too. It is, I had similar problems with this that I had with Daredevil, which was, what is the story we're telling? You're like, is it these small pieces or is it this big piece? It felt, again, both too much and not enough for me to understand what the story was and how to receive it in terms of like.
For Joe, the Daredevil story was Bullseye feeds a cat, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's very important to me.
Very.
No, but this is the problem with the 8 to 10 episode seasons, because, you know, we've been rewatching Buffy, or if you talk about Veronica Mars,
love Buffy.
Both of those shows have mastered in the 22, 24 episode season your case of the week for Veronica Mars or your monster of the week for Buffy, but then you've got an overarching big bad storyline that is just being seeded throughout. Exactly.
Yep.
You know, and then, or like, you know, Beaver Casablancas or like whatever is happening in the background is just sort of like dropped here, dropped there. You would get Silvermane like seeded throughout, but you wouldn't need to like spend so much time with him in every episode. Now listen, I could listen to Brendan Gleeson, who has the best accent in the world. And I am obsessed with the fact that Donald Gleason sounds exactly like him, you know, despite not coming from a working class background at all. I just think they sound delightful, but the balance was off. Way off.
The fighting is the point. It's what gives the whiskey its taste, though.
Yeah.
All-time line.
It was a really good line.
He had great stuff. It just it wasn't a compelling enough story to maintain a singular villain for 8 1-hour episodes who didn't himself have a story of his own.
Yeah, and we
even the Kingpin has a more substantial storyline.
Vanessa.
Exactly.
Especially because of the grip on power in the city. That is a really interesting comp, because like I of course cared about
the mayoral race. You were thinking about Spencer Pratt.
I cared about unfortunately we all are right now.
God.
I was, of course, invested in how Ben was going to navigate Silvermane and how Kat was going to but I didn't give a shit about the mayoral
I'm
politics
not tracking it
and the
at all.
Money in the back room and all that stuff.
I don't even know who he was running against.
Yeah, I mean, right, and there are the
Do we even,
illusions
like,
at
meet
the
that
end.
guy?
He's named at the end.
I think
the guy
so, but
who
I
they
think
could
that's
vote
it.
for their
That
funding
actor,
instead.
Michael Kostroff, who's from The Wire, like I love him, and I thought he did a great job with his like wire rim glasses and his vest and his like I'm your mayor. Like I loved all that, but the whole story.
It's not relevant to us enjoying this at all, and in fact could all go away, and the streamlined version of this street level Spider-Man story would be so much more satisfying. Spider-Man shouldn't be concerned with the mayoral race in a lot of instances.
For the most part.
I mean, truly.
What I will say though is that I was worried because when we meet Ben Reilly, and we find out about Welcome to the Dead Wives Club, Ruby.
Yes.
And he has like hung up the mask. He's not doing it anymore. I was worried about the whole like Surf Dracula question, right? You know about the Surf Dracula thing, right? Which is that like tweet of someone wrote about how like you make a show called Surf Dracula and then you spend like 10 episodes before we finally get to see Dracula surfing. Yeah. And it's like, I was like, how long are we have to wait to see him Spider-Man? And we did not have to wait that long. And that for that, I was really grateful. But like, because he's hung up the mask, we don't get a lot of those like, this is the foe I'm fighting this week. Right. You know what I mean? Because he's not in that mode. But in season 2, he could.
It suffers a little bit from, there's like a rule in improv, which is we're improvising a scene together. So don't play someone who doesn't want to be here. Don't be, it's just a surefire way to have a hard scene. Right. If the person's like, I got to go actually, or I don't want to be on this date, or, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, want to be there, choose to be there. And part of it is he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. And all we want is for him to be Spider-Man. Yeah. And so it's a bit of a tough lift for him to spend the whole season trying to get rid of this. Yeah. In a way that I'm like, no, I want you to want this. I understand this, what's happened, but we haven't been privy to the story of Ruby, and we don't know his origin story really, except for the broad strokes, which I'm fine with. But I want him to want to be Spider-Man because I want to feel as though that case of the week that, that person's being robbed, because Spider-Man is street level, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's his deal. Yeah. It's not big, gigantic concerns. It is small neighborhood concerns. And that's what I love about also a noir, a detective that is local. It is street level, you know, and that's great.
The thing about his struggle with the Spider identity and the Ruby remorse and all of that I quite liked over the course of the season, and when it kind of like culminated, what it brings us back to Janet and Robbie and those relationships, because like that scene on the bench between Ben and Robbie, like when Ben is like, you know, I used to like it because like it felt good and now it doesn't. That was really interesting. Yeah. And I thought that felt like a very, you know, kind of relatable and human note. Have all of us been bitten by a man spider while rescuing POWs and then became Peter? I'm no longer Peter. I'm Ben Reilly. I haven't had the opportunity yet to be bitten
Ben Reilly is the name of the Spider-Man clone in the comics. Yes. Which I was like, are they trying to be that Ben Reilly? But no, they're just... No,
here is like a new... I've taken on a new identity.
The wig is not blonde.
I did love... I will say, and I know we're jumping around, and I apologize. I'm totally part of the problem in that. But I loved the moment where... So much is going on that I feel like the story that I really enjoyed the most, and I know I said I didn't like the flashbacks, which I didn't like, but the moment where you realize Nicolas Cage is just out of frame of the picture of all of them taken in the war. Yeah. All of these guys who have superpowers were captured and liberated, and we find out, Nicolas Cage was right there, just off to the side. That I thought was a great moment in a way that I was like, I wish that I guess more of his struggle had been this PTSD. All of his powers are related to the war. Their powers are related to the war. The war is not over. They've brought the war home. Right. What is that? You know, like, how does that impact and influence whether or not he wants to be Spider-Man? Because part of being Spider-Man is always connecting to this central trauma of what is new, modern, monstrous warfare. You know, that was interesting to me, less so than even Silvermane or other things. Right. But it was, again, so mushy with all the other stuff.
Yeah. I think too, because the gang of villains, you know, Silvermane's henches, they're like, one of the things we learned in the season is that they're on this clock, right? So their powers manifested much later. This is that recently have come to the fore for them, and it means they're gonna die. And that's why they need the antidote that Faber tries to make from his liver. Is this where your liver is, by the way? Because he was bleeding from like, I don't think that's where the liver is, but I don't know. Maybe that's how you access it if you're an evil scientist trying to save.
I'm not an internist.
In the 66 universe, that's where everybody's liver is.
Okay.
Is that what this one is? I can't remember what number universe this is.
Don't worry about it.
That's where the liver is.
Everybody's organs are all jumbled up.
It's entirely. I mean, certainly the man spider. I mean, it's God. It's everywhere.
Oh yeah, big time.
But yeah, and so the fact that this thing that he like has come to really resent, you know, he has these powers, but they weren't enough to save his love, and so he doesn't want to use them at all. He doesn't want to help people anymore. It just brings him despair. that's the thing that's going to maybe spare these other guys from their fate. Those are really thematically rich strands of the story that I agree. I wish we had spent like a little bit more time there. The thing about the flashback that I think is just difficult in 2026, like modern superhero TV movie life to not do when you're watching it is like, you kind of, I'm like, you can't not think about like Bucky and Hydra, just the similarities of the like, you were a POW, we took you, we experimented on you, we turned you into this thing.
Yeah.
And so then like, I don't know, I think most of the show felt so completely and utterly unique that the parts on the origin story beat that feel a little bit more reminiscent of another thing.
I wrote in my notes like 3 episodes in, I was like, they're not doing an origin story at all. How refreshing. And then they're like, JK, we're doing it as a flashback.
And it's so hard to resist the pull. But I feel like most of the times when somebody resists the pull, it works out, you know?
We know with Spider-Man. I mean, that was the whole joke of Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
They're like, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
This is what happened to me. And it's like, it's played for laughs. And then here we have like a dramatic, surreal flashback.
I mean, even in Homecoming, we never, we get the allusions to it. Like when you can do what I can and you don't, and the bad things happen, they happen because of you. But we never see it all for Tom
get
Holland
it. A
Spidey,
spider
so,
or a man spider bit you. We get it. I got it.
Would you rather be bitten by a radioactive spider?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a man spider?
Yes.
A radioactive spider.
The spider.
For sure.
The little spider that I can then crunch.
The
not
man spider was terrifying.
Absolutely.
Which I really enjoyed. And I also
Me
felt
too.
like there wasn't enough like weight given to like, what the fuck? Like, everybody should have been
very
like,
upsetting.
What's going on? And everybody's like, okay, so this guy who's half spider and half man is
they do
me.
like burn it. It's a lot.
One of the things I loved about Janet was just how competent she was. That was so wonderful. And like you mentioned the cultivating the relationships, bringing the lunch to the cops to get the information. And then the way that actually like, it doesn't just feel like it's there simply to tell us Janet can do her own thing. It pays off. She gets the call later. It's like stitched throughout the story. And because Ben, who is like often falling so short throughout the story, kind of finds himself actually out loud saying a few times, like, it's like, you guys forget that I do this for a living, about the PI work.
Yeah.
To then have him say at the end, like, you're better at this than I am. And we know that is true. Very
when
satisfying.
He like tells her that he's Spider-Man,
that was
she's just like, yeah, I know.
That's my favorite.
That as a gag.
It's really good.
That's my pick
beats
for funniest
where
moment.
he's drunkenly revealed to her.
Yeah. And
so
the fact
funny.
that he has retained none of that and has done it multiple times, that was so funny.
Yeah, I thought he was so...
The spider's busy, Janet!
So good. He was so good at being goofy, which I was so happy. Because I was a little afraid that it was going to be... He was going to try and really do Humphrey Bogart throughout. Yeah. So the silliness was very refreshing. Yes. And I thought was very welcome. And he crushes.
Yeah. And then we have the heart from Janet and Robbie in those relationships. So that was really great. On the villain front, who was your favorite of either Silvermane or any of his? It could be Lucas Haas. It could be Winston. Tombstone, Sandman. We know it's not Megawatt for Joe.
I don't know that I think the design on Megawatt was so cool in the black and white. I thought that looked incredible.
I liked Tombstone just because I thought that he had the most interesting story. You know, he had an arc. Sandman was fine. I wanted Kat to have more depth. I wanted that character to have another layer because she was super interesting and is captivating to watch and was electric on screen. So I was like, ooh, I just wanted, that's why I kept being like, is she Black Cat? Is this is she casing this? Is she going to steal? What's going on here?
Yeah.
You know?
I think they were just using the name essentially.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, but no, I really agree with you. I think that like the Flint Cat thing was the mushiest part of the whole thing. When it's just sort of like, theirs is the love story we're supposed to believe in. He ultimately makes a decision at the end of the day because of her. Right. He gets to get the antidote essentially so that they can run off to like Santorini or wherever they're going to live happily ever after. But then like, why are we meant to buy into the Ben Cat thing at all?
We're
briefly.
Not. Yeah. And when he gets so excited about it, when he's like saying to Janet, like, I'm so excited, we're leaving tomorrow. I was like, do you believe this?
That's what I was like, does he believe
Are you
that this
listening?
is real?
You're a 62-year-old man. Get it together,
but
guy.
She was shocking. Like, I feel like she was going to go.
And then she said to him at the end, like, if not for Flint, I would have gone. I liked his retort. I liked his, like, it's one thing to, like, fuck around with the guy, but then to, like, sail away and keep him on the hook. And she's like, fuck off. And it's like, no, I mean, it was like, he deserved to say it.
I did Google at one point how old the actress was who was playing Felicia Cat Hardy, because I was like wondering about the age difference, and it popped up immediately in the Google search, which means a lot of people were wondering about that age difference. She's in her early 40s, which is just like older than I thought she was. And there are comments throughout that Silvermane's like a younger model and like stuff like that. I mean, she looks incredible.
Beautiful.
Young 40s, young 60s, still an age gap, but I was just like, it's not as gross as I thought it was.
But I didn't believe for an instant that there was an actual
was a vibe.
Love connection.
Yeah.
No,
You know what I mean?
not at all. But like, she was going to go with him. Like the plot is,
I guess was that simply because it was the path of least resistance to extricate herself from the situation.
I thought it was because she thought Flint was gone, and so she's like the next guy.
Yeah, I tried to burn down Silvermane's place. It didn't work out. I wanted to be with Flint. It didn't work out. So like, I guess this
Ben
is like
Reilly
the next
seems like a good
thing.
enough guy.
When she throws herself out of the window, which I quite liked, because like women in spider stories always get thrown off the roof. So the fact that she threw herself out the window, I was like, that's great. She gives him this like the look she gives him as she's being sort of reeled back in is very much like, oh, it's the spider. Hello.
Yeah.
Well, once you know he's the spider.
Well, and it's also that it's like in noir terms, if she is our femme fatale, like her interest can't be trusted.
Well, she should have been like that's a story I would have preferred, is that she's playing him the whole time. But I feel like it was trying to have it both ways.
Yes, I think it was. I think it very much was.
We have the big betrayal, but then she's trying to come back to him earnestly at the end and say, I didn't, even when she goes to Janet, she's like, I'm here to like make sure he's okay. It's
but why?
Right. Are you? I didn't want anything to happen to him.
She's a villain. Yeah. I think she should be a villain. Not a villain like with malice.
She should be looking out for herself.
Yes, that's all. That's all I mean. But in a way that is absolutely negative for him, and that she is remorseless, I think should be part of it, And
I still think she should get her guy and still go to Santorini.
By the way, great.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. But it made it, again, mushy enough that I was like, who am I supposed to, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? What is the story? Is what I kept having trouble with. And then as it would start to come into view, there would be like an entire episode that is just Nicolas Cage in a mental institution. And I was like, okay, so we're doing one of these?
Yeah.
We're doing like a bottle episode for him where he's just in a mental institution. I was like,
I preferred that.
It was crazy.
It
was so crazy. I loved it because it gave us
all
this madness.
Yeah,
but I was also
weird.
like, we don't have time for this, man. Like, I'm not interested in stopping down to tell this part of it now.
Yeah. I think Flint didn't totally land. I agree. And like, I think what you're mentioning Boardwalk Empire and Jack Houston earlier, like, I do like the casting on we're back in a Prohibition era story, and you associate Richard with that time. But like, he is so handsome.
And he's like, put some shit on my face.
And so
they'll take me seriously.
It's like a bizarre version of like, Tom Hardy can never show his face or something. I don't understand what's going on with that. But I didn't think that this Flint Marko was like particularly charismatic or interesting.
Yeah.
No, but
that was a bummer.
No, but I thought his design was very cool.
Yeah.
I thought all like the Tombstone, Megawatt, Sandman designs were like the way that the sand moved around his face, at least in black and white, it looked quite good.
Yeah, I didn't think Megawatt looked as good in the true hue, because then it's like the kind of like orangey neon creep of the face versus
I didn't see any of that.
But in black and white, I agree.
I thought it was good that they didn't try and do too much for those three guys. They didn't try and full Sandman him.
Only at the end you get the like the hand out of the pile of sand. Yeah.
I did like when he got smushed between the cars and just exploded like a dune blown in the wind. That was very fun. On the Megawatt front, in case he doesn't come up again, just want to share this quote. You ever shut up? No. Why would I deny the world a moment of my grandeur? Who has ever said grandeur that way in their life? Grandeur. That killed me. I was cracking up. What a bizarre, truly bizarre performance from that
When
guy.
I looked up that guy, like, okay, with love and respect to that guy, when I looked up and found out that he was like a Nickelodeon kid, I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
funny.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's the thing where I'm like, oh, this is where I wish Sam Raimi had done it. Or if you want to see to me, the perfect execution of director and this version of Nicolas Cage, I urge everyone at home to please take a moment tonight to put on Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. This is Werner Herzog directing Nicolas Cage in one of the most unhinged, delightfully so performances in modern cinema. There are multiple shots where you are looking at the existing action through the point of view of a lizard that is also there. So it is some nuts level stuff. I cannot recommend it enough. And it is this Nicolas Cage, just totally unhinged.
Double feature with Mandy or?
Great.
Okay.
Great. And
take your preferred substance of choice.
Oh my God.
Do you think anyone told Werner Herzog to move the lizard and he said, no, you're a coward, just like when they tried to replace the puppet Grogu with
Oh my
I
God.
was like, Mallory's going to make this Werner Herzog moment about Grogu.
Either that or the video where you see him actually get shot by
by
bullet
Klaus Kinski? Yeah.
Just one of the craziest things you could possibly watch.
And the short where he eats his boot?
Yeah.
All of it. All of Fitzcarraldo, all of it. It's
God.
absolutely fucking nuts.
What a guy.
A true... just do yourself a favor also and watch the Werner Herzog directed commercial for Salt. For his friend's Salt.
I've never seen
Salt? Yes. The thing you put on your food?
I got the salt. It worked. I bought the salt.
Where does it
what?
Where does
I'm
it
sure
land
it's on YouTube,
on the like Orson Welles like
No, it's a real commercial.
Well, the Orson Welles one is too.
No, I know, but I mean it's like
But it's just like an actual finished commercial that went to air.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. It's so Werner Herzog. It's amazing.
Exciting.
All the lizard shots on Fresh Air with Terry Gross, Werner Herzog, they're talking about that movie. And she's talking about all these shots that are from the point of view of the lizard. And he says that it's Herzogian. He calls it Herzogian. And I was like, I love this guy so much.
What's Mantzoukian?
Yeah.
Who knows? That's not for me to decide.
Well, it was for Werner to decide.
Yeah, I can't. I wouldn't claim to have that.
You can't give yourself a nickname.
I can't have that gravitas the way that he does.
All right. We'll think
He also
about it
claims to
back.
not dream.
I
love it. Silence.
He says he doesn't remember his dreams or that he does not dream. Like his
movies are his
subconscious
dreams.
is not active while he's asleep. That doesn't seem possible. I don't think that's true.
Have I ever told you my favorite joke from The League?
No, what is it?
It's when your character says Gattaca instead of Attica.
Oh, yeah.
Was that an improv or was that in the script? Just claim it. And if you claim it, I'm going to say
it's Mantzoukian.
I think it might have been in the script because we didn't have scripts. We just had outlines. And so Jeff would usually like have if he had a bit or a joke, he would give us that. And I think Gattaca might have been a Jeff pitch. I don't remember though. It's absolutely something I would have improvised.
Then let's call it Mantzoukian.
Yeah. Positively Mantzoukian.
Oh.
Any other funny scenes or moments that you guys want to highlight that we haven't talked about already? We talked about I already know you're the spider montage with Janet, which was my pick for this. I also enjoyed when she said he was yellow and he's like a coward.
Yeah.
Like a banana.
Really funny. I loved all that stuff. We talked about the scene where he's doing the stretching and all this.
Yes.
There's a couple, but there's one in particular that genuinely, and it's especially if you really, I'd love for somebody to clip it and meme it or whatever, because he comes in with the suitcase with his costume in it, and it looks like that scene looks like a version of Death of a Salesman directed by Guy Madden. It's like true, insane, next level, otherworld stuff.
Well, I love when you see it before you quite understand what it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever
And those were the moments that I felt like really engaged by the show.
Yes.
When it was weird.
Yeah.
Because when it's trying to do the story, it's not weird at all. And it's very on rails.
Right.
Unsuccessfully, I would say.
I love too in his when he's doing the physical comedy of the shriveled up spider and all of that, because Spider-Man, so many of the comics, the origin of Peter Parker, all of this is so rooted in the young person goes through puberty and comes to terms with I've got a tingle and then I'm slinging white stuff out of my body. What's happening?
Yeah.
The idea of old washed Ben Reilly Spider-Noir being like, guys, I'm in the refractory period. I'm gonna need a minute. No more web slinging
really
for
funny.
me.
Yeah,
that
really
was
really
great.
That was really
that
funny.
That was just great.
I also loved. I wrote when him playing Happy Ben Reilly.
Oh yeah.
When he sings, I love cheesecake in the morning with you. I was like, what is he up to? I guarantee that's an improv.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way that was in the script. He's just riffing in a way that I recognize as the insufferable riffing that I do on sets that people are like, well, this guy just please stop.
How Mantzoukian.
But boy, are they finding absolutely wonderful stuff. I love eating cheesecake I love cheesecake in the morning with you. Really got me the whole happy performance. I really loved. I'm just trying to go through all the stuff that I flagged.
What about just the bottle is just labeled antidote?
Yeah.
Oh,
incredible.
God.
Very, very, very,
incredible.
very good.
And that people keep looking at it and being like, what is this?
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. It's the antidote.
Yeah.
I also loved when Robbie
described on the label, yeah.
when Robbie comes in and then Janet is found. And the whole bit about like, well, it seemed dumb to bring it in. And he's like, yeah, and this is like so much better. That was great. I loved that. I also enjoyed when he called Kat Lady Judas. That just made me laugh.
Also, everybody knows he's the Spider.
Too many people know.
He's so bad at keeping the secret.
Too many people
You know what I mean? That I was like, be better at this.
It felt very like Mandalorian. I was like, does he have to kill every single
Yes.
person? He
must go bathe in the living water so that he can be redeemed.
Yeah.
Violation. Like that rando fucking bartender knows.
Oh, that bartender definitely knows.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I guess he's drunk. I couldn't figure that out. I was like, Spider-Man really protects his
but the fact
secret
that we got
identity.
that amazing Janet montage where he's
That was great.
hammered or plastered as he
Really
and then is not able to retain the fact that he has like revealed his own identity. Yeah, he's not going to know that bartender knows. So that's a liability.
Freaks. It's Todd Fields' Freaks that he says is still in theaters, which is still playing in theaters. By the way. I was like, oh, God bless you.
Incredible.
You know, he's like, what year is it exactly? What time? What year?
What year is it exactly? When he made a reference to I know we're in a different world.
Yes,
when he made a reference to a 1949 Betty Davis movie, I'm like, are we in 1949?
Yeah.
Have we traveled into the 1950s?
Freaks is much earlier. Freaks is the 30s, I think.
How much after World War II are we meant to be? You know?
I don't know, and that's a great question. And the movie doesn't want you to ask these questions.
Where is the liver inside of your body?
Yep. Yes.
Don't ask these questions.
Yeah. Don't interrogate. Don't.
Was Prohibition the exact same time in this continuity?
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the best time.
No, because I mean, are they supposed to be World War I vets?
It's World War II. It's World War I. That is true.
Sense. But then is it 19?
Then the movie.
So then for him to be quoting 1949 movies makes no sense at all.
Right. As long as you could still wax poetic about really wanting a hot dog, I'm willing to accept it.
Loved all the hot dog stuff.
So much hot dog stuff.
He's doing so much voice work. He's doing so much business.
Yeah.
I mean, and the wigs are positively like truly like
bizarre.
Nuts level.
Yeah.
The tight one in modern in contemporary time, but then the floppy one in the flashbacks was really getting me.
Also, this is my matinee idol moment.
With his white vest and shirt on, like gauzy. Those flashbacks were trouble.
Do you think it was his decision to say that he only had one clean glass and then he found another glass and it was dirty, but he would drink from the dirty one and then not just turn on the sink and rinse it? Do you think that was his choice? Because he definitely could have just turned on the sink.
I mean, like, there's a million.
I feel like because I feel like in that moment she goes Ben, but I really feel like she wanted to be like Nick.
Nick, you can just rinse the glass.
Nick,
we're already over.
That's incredible. What about the emotion? Did any of the emotional moments hit you? I mentioned I really liked the bench scene between Robbie and Ben at the end. I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was like a
there was some good stuff, but there was nothing. There was no emotional storyline that I felt particularly connected to, which is, I think, why I wanted more from the detective story.
Yes. Yeah.
Why I wanted more shoe leather. Yeah. Because I wasn't like, but at least I'm having fun inside of this emotional storyline. Right. No, it was kind of neither nor.
Shoe leather for Werner Herzog to
eat. Yes. Chomp chomp.
With love and respect to the poor drowned Ruby, none of that stuff worked for me.
No. Truly. Agree.
The poor drowned Ruby.
Just 0% work for me.
It does also seem, we don't know all the particulars. He should have been able to get to her, I think. He's the
He was
spider.
drunk.
When he tells the story.
And he's just like, I was drunk at the time.
And then they cut back to him like, oh, wait a minute. So he was an asshole?
Yeah.
He was like, I was supposed to meet her, but I was a good time Johnny. And his outfit, he's wearing like a patterned, jacket. And he's like,
a night
big
with
Nick
the boys.
Cage.
Yeah,
I was like, I fucking love this.
And he's like, she died because I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. It didn't work for me either for that reason. I was like, I don't understand. Because it's also like, he's doing Sam Spade, he's doing classic noir Humphrey Bogart. But then when he's not, he's really not. He's broad in every single way, in that Bugs Bunny way, in a way that I was like, well, then I don't believe you if you were then a bad guy, a Sam Spade, a callous, a Parker, a callous, remorseless person, then be that still. As the spider, be murderous, be.
But the drum they bang so many times is like the spider will save people. He's a good guy. He will intervene.
Right.
And I really wish that, not that I wish for another like Gwen Stacy moment, but I wish it had been more like a Gwen Stacy moment where it's like the Spider-Man couldn't get her. Not I was drunk somewhere in a bar, and then I stopped to put my spider suit on, and then just kind of floated uselessly in the water as she died.
By the time I got into the lake, I definitely still could have saved her.
For sure, he was so close.
No, but he was drunk.
Couple whiskey tumblers deep at that point. I think it's interesting because like what you guys are saying, the selfish, callous, like not a great guy thing he's done is decide to stop being the spider for 5 years, right? Yes. And so then when like Robbie and his friends have to talk him into like, when Robbie says like, well, you have the choice to like help these people now. I think to your point, like the part where he is, because the Cat and Ruby stuff doesn't really work, I agree. The place that the Lady Judas stuff sends Ben to actually still did work for me, particularly because he's being so goofy. He's like mining the depths of his feelings, but he's doing it in a kind of like really exaggerated way. So when he's in the fight with the guys at the bar, these strangers who he feels like the need to defend himself to, even though they're nobody of consequence to him. And he's like, maybe the spider's a guy just like anyone else. You ever think about that? You ever wonder what his problems were? He's swinging around burning buildings, saving people. You ever think he feels the heat or gets sad or tired or lonely? I was thinking like even dragons get lonely from Hot D with Viserys. But
did you have that under your most emotional moment, Mallory?
Yes, that was that's
tears
because I didn't have a lot of other contenders. So I think the Bender,
that's an example of something that I like and love. And all of it works with the exception of there's a dissonance to it coming out of the mouth of someone so seasoned.
Yeah.
For a 60-something to be saying words that make more sense from a young person, for a young person to be struggling. This is Peter Parker's struggle. Peter Parker's struggle is, how do I maintain my life and give myself wholly to others? Like what is this? How, and to love someone is to put them in danger, and all of these component things that he is in his 60s and still lamenting. Like,
so he went to war when he was in his 50s.
Got it. He has, and that again, like it's that thing which is like, oh, I'm so glad it's Nick Cage, and of course. But do you think they even had a conversation that's like, we gotta get a younger actor if it is in fact live action? Nick Cage is perfect for the voice of animated Ben Reilly or animated Spider-Noir.
Well, I like that he was washed. I just don't think you can give him this soldier backstory.
I don't think so.
Like, don't make him contemporary.
Not with these guys.
Not
with these other guys who, unless you make them all old.
Right.
And it is the 40s.
Dude,
it was from the teens.
Make Megawatt 60 as he's like, I'm a star, but he's all wrinkly and like,
look at me, ma, top of the world.
That would be great. Which effect did you guys like the best of the just styling and like which?
Well, again, I think the henchman face stuff looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought.
I think, and this is not, truly, this is not an effect, but I think in a way, the black and white version of it is the effect that I got the most out of. It helped immerse me in this world that it was referencing and always referencing all of the kind of classic cinematographic. What's the word I want?
Cinematography?
Cinematographic? Like, right? I'm trying to find the same word. But you know what I'm saying? Like all those visual cues, all the cinematic cues, but specifically camera, like all this stuff.
The canted angles. And a lot of up angles
a lot of
to make people.
The blinds and the stark contrast between light and dark and all this stuff that's like all the pieces of noir I really enjoyed and really helped me because I think if that hadn't been, if I'd watched the color version, I think I would have liked it quite a bit less. Like it helped put me in the mindset of those movies that I love and that kind of storytelling, you know?
I was most curious to see how the effect of Sandman translated. I think just because like the Sandman looks so horrible in Spider-Man 3 it was interesting to see a different design on Sandman, and it was just refreshing to have it be anything but
it was just his like little fist.
And
the face
stuff. Yeah, but and I was like, what's it gonna look like? Is it golden? And it kind of wasn't. Almost like more like gravel than sand. And then when it's like the sand has turned to glass from megawatts heat, it's like a kind of ocean blue.
I had
such a little different.
I had such an Avatar Bender moment, like when Megawatt was fighting Sandman, and I was like, "What happens when lightning hits sand?
Yeah, there you
glass, bitches."
There you go.
I wish he had said that.
Yeah,
I mean, but how would he have said
lightning?
Glass, bitches.
I did like when Megawatt got thrown in front of the train during the final battle. That was fun. I enjoyed
the conductor.
That. We also did like a full John Wick 2 Hall of Mirrors.
Yes.
Cat
that was
Silvermane.
Horrible.
Yeah. That was strange.
I didn't get that either. Again, I
was really eager for the show to be done at that point.
Same.
That was odd,
and especially I was like, especially because I felt like the Silvermane, the crime storyline for me ended around episode 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And then 7 and 8 just felt interminably long because 7 was mostly the mental hospital, Amy Aquino digging his liver out and make it like them, her young son who's an old man. Like I was like, what is going on?
Good old Freckles.
Yeah.
Freckles. Not nearly enough freckles on his face to have the nickname Freckles, by the way. Just
Come
throwing that out there.
Then he died right away, man.
Oh, yeah. He died straight away.
Tough one.
Both of them.
Death.
Both of them
And you're
straight
like,
to
maybe
death.
they'll be okay. We didn't see a lot of blood. And then the building explodes. So no, they're dead. Anything
like
else?
what if Cat
Yeah.
Cat goes to the doctor and is like, are you telling me if you know who the spider is,
crazy.
then you can create an antidote? She should go to Ben and be like, hey, go to the doctor. She can create an antidote from your whatever, genetic makeup or whatever.
Liver.
And instead, it's
7
like
pints of your blood.
So then we were weirdly like, oh, they have to kidnap him. I was like, I don't understand any of this.
Yeah.
Like why they did it like this.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And then that element, like you said already, of are we supposed to really resent her for that? Are we still supposed to be rooting for her even though she's done this? Not just bad thing, but needless.
Yes.
Ultimately.
It felt like he might want to find a cure as well.
Yeah.
So why have to do this against his will versus I think if someone approached him and said, we might be able to cure you.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the spider anymore. And he could be like, great.
Right. Crazy doctor trying to decades age down her, like trying to like force a Benjamin buttoning of her son in her secret lab full of basically
the thing from the Prestige.
Yeah.
And that. I was going to say like alien resurrection vibes in there for sure.
Better.
Like Fallout's Vault 4, you know, with all the mashups of the animals and the people. Very, very strange. Very strange concept that
really
I did enjoy. What else have we not hit for Spider-Noir that anybody wants to touch on?
I will just say, in terms of the bad effects, you know, the digital double, the swinging Spider-Man digital double looked pretty bad most of the time, like especially in the landing sort of moments. But I think the spider suit was so cool looking.
The costume looked awesome.
I love it.
And I just think like in the fight, like even with the hat on, like it just looked really cool.
The texture of it is cool.
Yeah.
The goggles are great. And the goggles are really good at, especially in the black and white, obviously, at giving you context for where he is in dark environments, which I loved that as just like a visual cue.
Yeah,
it was terrific.
I also liked when he was like, because the Silvermane phone call thing, like, he's just like this guy with the sock on his head, and like he can't understand a word he says. He's like pretty annoying, actually. That was very good. Why did you think the double looked bad? Like because of the not convincingly Nick Cage, or like he's too? Is it because he?
No, just the physics were off on like the landing. It just looked like too light and too like Gumby-y as it landed.
I agree. It looked
should have been more like hobbling from.
It looked like animation from like the Sam Raimi movies.
Yeah.
It looked like old. You know, it just wasn't. It had that problem, which I think is probably endemic with all of their shows. They just don't have the money
to do
it as well as it can be done for 8 episodes of a TV show.
It makes you appreciate like how good of a job they do with Tom Holland's digital double and stuff like that on those.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's not too late to get Nick Cage into Billy Elliot before season 2 of Spider-Noir and then have him become like an expert dancer and do his own stunts.
Oh, wow.
It is too late to get Nick Cage and Billy Elliot.
And you think Billy Elliot is the middle
if he's
step?
trying to replicate Tom Holland's grace and limberness.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, he could do something else. Will he be able to do like a Rihanna
Wait, was
umbrella
Tom
rendition?
Holland Billy Elliot?
On the stage.
On the stage.
Jamie Bell on the screen.
So both Billy Elliots
became superheroes. Body horror superheroes, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
sure is.
What does that say about the world we're living in? We'll be right back with more House of R.
All right. It's time for a favorite tradition across the Ringer Podcast Network. Mantzoukas Recommends.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. So I'm here to talk about anime. This is very new to me. I'm a very new to anime person. Like I said, I'm a 53-year-old man who has a Crunchyroll subscription and no children, which is allowed. I checked.
You looked it up.
It's cool.
In California only or nationwide?
By the way, good question. It is. They're locking it down in some states. I read an article about this show, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End.
Yep.
I don't know, whenever it was airing season 1, so a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That made it sound so interesting and right up my alley that I sought it out. I subscribed to Crunchyroll and I watched it and became obsessed with it. And this show I've watched in its entirety at least 6 or 7 times. I've watched it constantly. It's a real balm it's been a real balm in my life, I'd say, in the years since it came into my life. And it is incredible storytelling correct. Have you guys watched? How much have you guys watched?
I watched like 5 episodes,
great,
I want to say.
Great.
I'm through episode 10.
Okay,
season
great.
1.
And so I've watched all of it. There's just 2 seasons and it's like 36 episodes total or something like that.
Are they making a 3rd season?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
But and it's based on a manga that I have not read and purposefully will not read because I don't want to be spoiled as to what's going on in this context because I'm so enjoying this interpretation of it.
Sometimes spoilers matter.
If you told me that something happened in it, I wouldn't be mad at you.
Right.
But I'm enjoying receiving the story like this, so I don't want to first do it this way and then receive the entirety of the story. Right. And just so I'll break it down for people because I think your show in specific is this show is for your demo.
Yeah.
This is a show that is it's called Beyond Journey's End. And so at the very beginning of this story is the very end of the story that has been before, which is a party of heroes, adventurers, managed to defeat the Demon King, who's been just a absolute brutal, terrible figure in this world for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, a big bad. And the party of heroes is a warrior, Himmel the hero, a warrior, Eisen, the kind of priest, Hyder, and the mage, who is Frieren, who's an elf. And the show is about an elf, Frieren, who is, because she's an elf, immortal. And you are watching a show that is about people fighting dragons and being on an adventure. And it is, for shows like this, it is a found family show. It is a Lord of the Rings. It is a fellowship show. It is people in pursuit of a task that is so big, but along the way, they are doing things they're helping other people with their needs and engaging in smaller acts of service throughout the land. And you're watching it from the point of view of a character, Frieren, who's essentially immortal, who becomes consumed with and heartbroken by this idea that she does not know how to have human relationships with people because their lifespans are so short to her. Right. They're on this adventure that for the group of heroes is so totemic for them because it's a decade of their lives. And she's like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll see you in 50 years we'll meet again to see the meteor storm again in 50 years. And when she sees them, they're all old and dying. Yep. And she hasn't aged a beat. And they are all, it sends her into this kind of existential crisis. And she then takes on an apprentice, starts to assemble a new group so the show is bouncing between her and her apprentice Fern, who is maybe one of my favorite characters in all of stories now. They're young warriors, Stark. And they are now walking the path that she walked in her former fellowship, in her former group. Right. They are walking the same path, encountering some of the same townspeople, encountering some of the same bad guys. But really, it's about learning how to connect with people and learning how to be a friend and a human being and how to really connect with people. And that, to me, I think is what I think is wonderful about the show is I watch a lot of shows. anime shows that are about people fighting demons and people fighting dragons, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and all these shows that are like sentenced to being a hero. These are great shows that are a blast. But Frieren to me is, those things happen throughout, but really it's about the slice of life, moment to moment, episodic nature of their group of friends getting to be closer with each other.
Right.
And it is so satisfying and so sweet. And I think that's why I keep coming back to it. It scratches that itch to me that like Great British Bake Off does. Like it feels wonderfully cozy to be in Frieren's world with her. I'm curious what you guys have thought so far, knowing that you've only watched a little bit of it.
I'm immediately kind of obsessed with it. And I should say thank you so much. Like, you're the impetus for me watching it, but our listeners have been trying to get us to watch it for a while. They were right. You're right. The premise, and I think this is okay to say because it is the premise of the show, is that, you know, the death of Himmel the hero, which is what starts everything, starts her introspection and her emotional sort of awakening. That idea, and we flash back constantly to them as, you know, I check it off your bingo card. I have to talk about Westworld season 1. Westworld season 1, she's walking that same path that she walked before and remembering what it was like. There's this will they, won't they between Frieren and Himmel, but we, the viewer, know they never will because he's died. And it is so much pain to watch. It's a comfort. It is a balm. It's a cozy show. It's a cup of tea. It's a quilt. But it's also like that very conceit, that very premise of he's so in love with her and she's so oblivious and you know she's never going to figure it out before he dies because we already watched him die. And so I'm just going to watch him pine for her and then her regret not understanding what he meant to her.
Well, when she goes back and finds him 50 years later and he turns around and he says, Frieren? And she says, Himmel, you're so old.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing about Frieren is she's blunt.
Yeah.
She's tactless. She is so just forthright, cold, removed. She does not connect emotionally with people. And you're right, it's the death of Himmel the hero that sets this whole thing in motion. And she starts to sob. And she's basically like, I thought I had more time to get to know him.
Right.
I thought the sentiment of I thought I had more time is so central to what she's going through. And again, she's immortal. But the time she's now aware of is our time, is the humans' time, the humans that are around her, you know? Yeah. And then her making more of an effort to connect with Eisen, to connect with Heiter, and try and find them and make sure that she is of service to them in their later years because she knows that they are also dying. And that's how, when she comes to Heiter and she's, you know, coming to him to be like, this is the end of your life. Is there anything I can do? He says, will you take this girl on, Fern, and as an apprentice? And then there's this great episode that is, you know,
a ruse.
A ruse that takes place over many years. That's the other thing that's great about the show is constantly expanding and collapsing time. You know, like when they arrive in a village, you know, Frieren will be like, well, we could stay here a little while. And Fern will be like, what's a little while?
Right,
and like Frieren will be like 2 or 3 years. It'll take us 2 or 3 years to clear this beach or whatever, you know? Yeah. And so you're just really very kind. Maybe it's because I am middle-aged and thinking about time so much, and time seems to be, to me, speeding up in a way that is really unsettling. The way that Frieren talks about having time and the way that everybody else talks about not having time is so potent and so heartbreaking. You know, there's just, it is a show that is so light and fun, but then about such real heavy, like existential issues. It's absolute dynamite.
Yeah.
It made me think a lot about Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know,
Same.
which is,
Yes.
like that sort of like found family. Yes, there are these big adventures we have, but it's about the relationships that we build, the friends we made along the way.
Isn't it always?
And it is like episode to episode, them going into towns and having to tackle small problems. The small problems, though, that connect them to the people around them.
Yeah, right.
And that's what's that, and the younger Fern and Stark are constantly saying, why are we doing this? Why are we wasting time helping these people clear the beach? And she's like, or why does Himmel have statues everywhere?
Yes. I love the statues.
It's this idea of like, make people's lives better, make people's lives easier, and they will remember you. You know, like that is your legacy, is to have helped these people, not to have slain the dragon or whatever. That's great, but you know, like it's just, oh boy, do I love this.
And also, like, to learn that you can slay the dragon by yourself, you know, and in Stark's case, I get a real kick out of Stark. I love him. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it, and Adam's loving it. It's like we're I think the first season's 28 episodes, so like we've barely begun our journey, but just the first 10, especially because where we are through right now is these demon confrontations, the multi-arc stretch. That is like really intense in terms of thinking about like morality and what you get to decide about like what is good or
who is
evil
good
or
and who
right.
is bad.
Yeah, it's getting quite intense,
really complex.
And deep. Yeah, and very.
And what's really interesting, and neither of you have gotten there yet, and this is not a spoiler, I don't think, but the second half of season 1 is in its entirety a test. It is, they have to achieve a certain grade of witchcraft, of mastery over magic, which Frieren has above and beyond. So what you're doing is like, they're just building out the world and then giving you really all these unique and fun puzzles to get them involved.
Yeah, like you said existential. There is something deeply philosophical and existential about it. It's quite poignant and moving. It's like very smart and deft. I have found it like very entertaining and compelling, but also deeply moving. I mean, the log line of like Ben Limberg, our colleague Ben Limberg, was the first person who pitched it to me actually. And he pitched it as like, much like I think many of the Bad Babies have. It's basically like Lord of the Rings ends and then, right? Which was obviously
it's like George R.R. Martin being like, what's Aragorn's tax policy? You know what I mean? Or whatever.
And their little cradles. The baby orcs and their little cradles.
Yeah, what happens after Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah, and that's what this is. Like this Beyond Journey's End is the title of the show. Like once the big story's over, what next?
Exactly. And like to use the familiar archetypes, and if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings, you're going to like, okay, so we have that's all really great and really fun. But when Limberg pitched it to me and he was describing it about grief, I was like, I don't know if this is the right time. And then when you pitched it to me, when I saw you and Halo had just died, you were like, I think that's why you would love it. Yeah. Because, sorry. No. It's like.
Why are you apologizing?
I think like it is very much about like missing people, but it's about, the way you put it to me was like, it's about like learning to feel the gift of those memories.
Yeah, keeping them in your mind.
Yeah. And so like, that's been really lovely. Yeah. And like, it's sad to, think about loss as I'm watching. I think that's why we've been going very slowly through it. Yeah. But it has been like very cathartic too, to just think about like, I don't know, how the new experiences that you have in your life and the new bonds that you form, like allow you to think back with grief and sorrow and longing, but also just like with so much gratitude, and that like, so much of life is a journey toward gratitude and appreciation. So like, I've really loved that part of it. And I think like, this was early. It's like this, God, it might be like the second episode, but like the blue flowers, like looking to put the blue flowers on Himmel's statue and just like,
I loved
and taking the time
to find them and just like do something that also is fleeting because those flowers will die and they won't be there next time, but means something. It's like it's paying attention to things. It's how we show love. It's the Bill and Frank Last of Us idea. And like, that's just been really nice. And then, the we're always talking about, time. Now I have the Buffy Angel version of that, which has been really fun. And I always like to think about like, Loki and Thor and Jane and like say goodbye. And like, it made me think too of like Durin and Elrond in Rings of Power. And when Elrond shows up and it's been 20 years and his friend is like, you just like forgot about me. He's like, what are you talking about?
Totally.
And that idea of perspective and the way that Frieren is just learning to appreciate the people. And like, that's been cool when they go to these different towns and communities. The statues and the way that these heroes, and like for us in story and the world of story and culture, like these archetypes, right? That like that has sustained these villages.
Yes.
Like this thing that happened there, and the idea that it is worth remembering and worth remarking upon. And like the promises that someone will return to help them again. And then Frieren, a person who had not, or a mage and elf who had not thought about that. then being in the position to be the one to ensure that like prophecy can be fulfilled.
And she is largely forgotten.
Yeah.
Like it is Himmel the hero, who the statues are all of Himmel.
Yes.
It's very rare is it that there's a statue of all four of them.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, but very rare. But it's Himmel the hero always. And then every once in a while, someone will be like, he traveled with an elven mage.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't know if this will be a recurring through line. I assume so. But the way that there are different kind of legends around her, like it's like Frieren the Slayer is where I am now. I'm like,
well, and you also get to
meet
this is also a world that she is one of very few elves left alive, like tremendously few. So in those instances in the future where you do meet another elf, it's very impactful.
Yes.
Or there's without just giving too many things away, there are also a couple of instances where they find statues of people they don't recognize. It's not a statue of Himmel the hero. It's a statue of, let's just say, the hero of the South, who I will name but not say anything else about. That's season 2, and absolutely my favorite episode of season 2 is about the hero of the South. It is electric storytelling. I think I've watched it all, like I said, so many times. I had spinal fusion surgery last year and was in bed for about 6 weeks and watched it over and over and over. It is the most satisfying watch. It is so rewarding to keep digging into it. It is like a perfect storybook, you know? Yeah. There's just something, and what they're doing in season 2, super interested. That's the other thing is like, you think you understand what it's doing. And like I said, the back half of season 1 is this large exam that they all are taking, sort of, you know, this kind of, it's in this different architecture.
A trial. Yeah.
And then in season 2, back to kind of itinerant, moving towards Aureole, kind of on our path towards Mount Doom, or, you know, whatever. And all of the kind of little adventures there are. It's, guys, come on.
We're loving it.
Can I give
fantastic recommendation?
Well, one other thing I want to say is like that structure, that I find that love story structure really profound as it relates to what you were saying about grief, because there's the way in which you're watching, I'm only 5 episodes in, but the way in which it seems to me that like Himmel was in love with her.
Yeah.
And she is sort of realizing that she was in love with him. And she is falling in love with him to a certain degree via her memories of him. And as she revisits and understands him better and thinks about it more and views him from a different perspective, like she's like, oh, this person was so much more important to me than I appreciated at the time and then I realized. And so I think that is such a huge part of what grief is or can be, is just this sort of like even deepening of a bond you already, you know, he was already a good friend of hers. But in the loss of him, and then in the memory of him, and in this journey that physically takes her from memory to memory to memory, she falls in love with him in a way that is just so, I mean, human and so us. And
well, and it really is so very much about her having to force herself to think about a tiny fraction of her life, these 10 years that she spent with this party of heroes, is just she is, again, thousands of years old. For her, so she's excavating it because she's realizing how impactful and important it was. Right. And in fact, those relationships and the relationships now with Fern and Stark are, as the show goes on, foundationally changing her in an incredible way.
And how it changed, to your point, how it changes how she can connect to people now.
It's great. Okay, so I'm obsessed with this show. And another friend of mine also obsessed with this show, Rishikesh Hirway. Yeah. Who is, you know, a friend of mine, and we're talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And have you watched Frieren? Oh, we're watching it. We're great. I watched it. Amazing, blah, blah, blah. We're going back and forth. And so, and I was saying, I'm just going to, I clipped this because I was like, oh, I want, my other recommendation is a recommendation from Rishi. And this was the text back and forth. He says, Apothecary Diaries, ? And I say, haven't watched. I loved Delicious in Dungeon. That was one of my recommendations, which is also fantastic. But he says, Apothecary Diaries is great. And then this is what made me immediately, I'm not kidding, immediately press play on episode 1 of Apothecary Diaries. He says, an upstairs, downstairs house MD set in feudal China Jane Austen-y, will they, won't they, but also a medical mystery procedural.
Yeah.
And I was like, go, 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 go,
Can I
go,
just
go.
tell you, my experience with Rishi is that like nobody gives a specific recommendation better than he does.
He's the greatest.
Oh, he's so good.
It is the Apothecary Diaries. There's only 2 seasons of it. So again, because one of my things with anime is a lot of these shows have massive catalogs of episodes.
To entry can feel very
Can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah. But this, I was like, there was only 1 season, I think, when he recommended it. So I was like, yes. And I got this. Have either of you?
No. I watched the first one last night.
Okay, great. What'd you think?
I will be watching it as soon as I get home tonight. I thought it was incredible.
So what? Do you know the setup at all?
No.
Okay, so I think Rishi's description is very good. Yeah. It is. In the opening moments of episode 1, it's about a young girl who is the daughter to an apothecary. It's feudal China. She works in the pleasure district, creating salves and balms and medicines for the sex workers in a brothel. She is kidnapped and sold into essentially slavery in the rear palace, where all the emperor's courtesans live. Courtesans or
concubines?
Concubines, yeah. Sorry. Where the emperor's concubines live. And she is like meant to be just like a servant there. But then they slowly realize that she has an apothecary skill set. Mm-hmm. And so they start to put her to work solving the mysteries of the palace.
Yes.
So it is palace intrigue. It is also a will they, won't they between her and the guy that runs the rear palace, Master Jinshi, who is, well, I won't say anything more about
They're
him.
all eunuchs, so there's a little bit of for Thrones fans, a little Missy and the Worm energy here, which I'm enjoying only 1 episode in.
And so it really becomes this story where she is she just exists now in this new world, and is Mao Mao is her name. And she is one of my all-time favorite characters in stories now. I'm obsessed with this character because it's a mystery procedural, but it's always building out these character relationships and these character dynamics that she has with the other ladies in waiting, with the staff of the rear palace, all this intrigue, all of these assassination attempts. There's so much going on, and her cursory knowledge of and ability to, she's also obsessed with poisons.
Yes.
Not just that they exist, but she wants to drink them all. She wants to drink all poisons to see what they do.
Learn on the job.
She's like really into like getting poisoned, being poisoned. She becomes a taster, and there's a great moment where she's just like being a taster, and she's like, oh, it's good. Everything's good. And then she's like, this is poison. And it's awesome. And it's glee. This show is fantastic. And then similarly to Frieren, they make big moves in later storylines that aren't, so that it doesn't just feel like, Case of the Week, because it does feel like a little bit of what we were saying we wished for Spider-Noir. Yeah. It does feel in season 1 like kind of Case of the Week-y, while it establishes all of these relationships, which I think is really smart. And then season 2 kind of cracks it open into those relationships, flipping it so that those relationships become the focus, and the Case of the Week kind of fades a little bit. Really fantastic show.
I was wondering about that because I watched the first episode before bed last night, loved it, excited to watch more, but I wasn't sure what that, because it does have the setup of, okay, and then they now know that she has this skill. Also, I love just the little detail of like, she's the only serving girl who can read, so she kind of outs herself as like the one who left this clue because that was like, those little details were really
There's a
good.
Character you're gonna love coming up.
I'm excited.
The other Mao Mao.
They're also
I'm very excited for you.
It's a lot of hot people in the show. A lot of hot cartoons. I love a hot cartoon, but I was curious about the balance of Case of the Week versus bigger story, because I've got Hot D brain. Yeah, but it had a little bit of a House of the Dragon. Like in the first episode, but maybe that's just that case is the emperor's different lovers and their different kids.
Certainly, that's a component of it, but it's not every case is about that.
Okay. How long are the episodes?
22 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so much story in the first episode.
It was like
an incredible, and
packed.
and you barely have scratched the surface. And that's the thing they do very well, is it just keeps revealing a much larger story is at play, all of these people are actually connected by these 3 storylines.
Yeah.
And it takes her so long to figure a lot of this out. It's dynamite. And it's also, this and Frieren, I also think in particular, are beautiful. They're not
gorgeous.
just great shows, great stories, immersive storytelling, artistically beautifully rendered.
Can I ask you a really important question?
Yeah.
Are you a sub guy or a dub guy?
Okay, great question.
Mm-hmm.
So for Frieren, I watch it the first time through subtitle.
Mm-hmm.
I watch it in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And then all my subsequent rewatches are in English.
Mm-hmm.
And the actors are great.
Mm-hmm.
For Apothecary Diaries, I did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
For the shows like Jujutsu Kaisen, for the more like just fighty, actiony shows, I just listened to the English dub. Because I'm there mostly for the spectacle,
right?
And less the immersive storytelling.
Got it. Yeah.
And so, but these shows I watch first time through because I've watched both of them a lot because there's only 2 seasons of both of these shows, so it is you can do it over and over again. But the people they have doing the English dub are terrific. Frieren especially, and Mao Mao is whoever's doing that voice is great in Apothecary Diaries.
I'm doing the subtitles so far, first time, which is I think a good way to do it. It obviously just practically you can't be like looking down at like a sandwich or something. You
love to look at your sandwich. You love to look at your sandwiches.
Well, as you guys both know, we do like to like sit at our TV trays and like us can't even do that. Got to be like locked in for the subs. But it's been really fun to.
Oh, maybe not to jump back to Spider-Noir, but remember the scene where Nicolas Cage is eating the sandwich in front of the telephone booth, waiting for the phone call.
Yes, that was incredible.
And I was like,
I lied.
He's eating this scene like he's eating this sandwich. It is just chomp, chomp, chomp.
That was great.
That was
good.
Wonderful.
Really good.
Both of these shows, I think, are 10 out of 10. Like a master. I think Frieren is a masterpiece.
Crunchyroll is where you watch them. Yeah.
Crunchyroll.
They're both on Netflix right now, though. They are both on Netflix.
I did not know.
I just wanted to support Crunchyroll because Tyler from Crunchyroll has been emailing me for literally
shout
years.
out Tyler. Shout out Tyler.
So I'll just throw out Delicious in Dungeon, incredible show.
What a title.
It is characters similarly a adventurers. They're not heroes, they're adventurers. They're exploring a dungeon that appears to have no bottom. They are traveling into elements and areas that have never been traveled before. They're looking for treasure, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. But what this show is unique is they are constantly coming across monsters and flora and fauna that are trying to attack them and kill them and all this stuff. And when they win, one of their warrior sets up and cooks it all. So the show stops down for meal prep and eating.
I've seen a clip from this.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And because he's like, and I just take this the scorpion and I cut the tip off and it does all the film language of like Master Chef, one of those kind of like a cooking show. It becomes all of the film language of those shows, and it's awesome.
Top Chef Delicious Dungeon.
There's a show called that I'm now 10 episodes into that I feel like you guys would like, which is called Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Oh my God. Well, you have us from the title alone, obviously.
It is about a woman who is like I'm going to say like a 20-year-old woman, something like that. I think she's college or just out of college, librarian, obsessed with books.
Love it.
Dies.
Oh,
this is the opening moments of the show, is reborn into a world without books. And the show is about her.
Oh, no.
She's also a child now. She's like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. But she still has the knowledge of and she's in the world is kind of like medieval almost. You know what I mean? So, and there are no books, or there are so few books, and nobody knows how to read. She knows how to read. She can count. She knows numbers. So she's like a 6-year-old who's like immediately like, people are like, what's your deal, man? And she's just obsessed with making books and all about books and reading and stories. And it's terrific.
So this is like Himesh Patel telling everyone about the Beatles?
That's very similar. Yes, very similar. I mentioned a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to mention a couple of more things. Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal is like maybe the single best masterpiece of visual storytelling because there is no dialogue. It is just a caveman befriends a dinosaur as if it's his pet, and they fight. And it is just visually a masterpiece. You cannot believe what an incredible bit of visual storytelling the TV show Primal is. I'm going to go away from animation for a brief moment here.
Okay.
Just because I think you guys will like this if you don't know it yet. Are you familiar with the Mark Gatiss show Bookish?
Yes.
Okay.
I've not seen it.
What do you think, Joanna Robinson, about Bookish?
I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah.
Obsessed.
I love Mark Gatiss. I think he's so funny.
Same. I think it's great. It's worth seeking out. It is a Sherlock Holmesian post-World War II detective show set in like a very post-World War II London, and Mark Gatiss working with the police to help solve mysteries. Great stuff. And last but not least, I will ask you, Joanna Robinson, specifically, how do you feel about season 21 of Taskmaster?
Is it seriously season 21?
It is currently season 21 is airing.
Wow.
We call it Kumail season.
It's the Kumail Nanjiani season. Oh, yeah.
Kumail, your season of Taskmaster.
Season 19.
Was one of the most important things that's ever happened in my life because you are a real crossover breakout into the U.S. market of Taskmaster.
Big time.
And I had friends that I was trying to get to watch Taskmaster for literally like 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
And finally they watched it because A, it's a bit more accessible on YouTube now, and B, they're like, oh, Jason Mantzoukas is on. I'll watch.
Oh, that's how I got friends to watch it, who I couldn't get to watch it. I had to be on it.
This season is Mantzoukian.
When we ran into each other at Mateo and you were like, hi, Joanna Robinson, we're meeting each other face to face the first time. And I was like, I would like to now grill you about your experience on Taskmaster.
Oh, yeah.
It hadn't even premiered yet. And I was like, well, tell me, does this happen on Taskmaster? And does this happen on Taskmaster? This season is really good. It's funny watching Kumail. I feel like he's kind of trying to do what you did, but your energy is so distinct and his energy is so distinct that like it's reading completely differently.
Oh yeah, well I don't know that he's trying to. Well, I will say this: he had not seen mine when he did his.
Okay,
so because of when mine aired and when he shot, he is doing what he chose to do.
Yeah,
which I love because I think, and I don't think I'm wrong. I think Kumail would say this. I think Kumail wants to win.
Oh. Yes.
I did not.
Oh, no, you just wanted to cause chaos.
My whole thing was, if I'm winning, I can't be doing my thing.
Yes.
And I said as much to Alex. I said, listen,
your season was so good.
You cannot let me win because I then can't, I have to be able to operate from behind. My whole bit only works if I'm losing.
As a Taskmaster veteran, a veteran of the Taskmaster Wars.
Maybe that is like the greatest, the greatest reference of my,
It was
the greatest experience work-wise. Go ahead.
How do you feel about the egg bit in season 21?
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
So, okay, the premise of Taskmaster, right, is that they assemble a panel of comedians and they have previously, how long ago do you tape the tasks?
It depends season to season, but you're, like within the previous 6 months, you've probably come for a couple of instances to shoot.
You've been filmed to complete all of these tasks.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the show is the comedians assemble in studio, and each episode they break up the tasks into like, let's say 4 or 5 tasks at a time. And there's interstitial of the comedians in the studio. But once you get in the studio, and this has happened a couple times, some contestants will find out that there was a task that was only assigned to them and to no one else. And one of the panelists this season, this is the worst it's ever been because usually it's just like one task.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to like count all these peas or whatever, and nobody else had to. And this season, he has been given an egg that he has to keep on his person at all time and not break it.
Yeah.
So it's like hooked to him in this little like harness that he's
in a protective case.
Yeah.
But in the tasks, he's got it built into his hat.
Yeah, and it has to when a signal is given, he has to be able to present his egg at any given moment
within 30 seconds.
But he's the only person in the entire show.
What happens?
But he doesn't know that.
What if he breaks it? What happens? What if he drops it?
Who knows?
Who knows?
He's not broken the egg?
Here's the thing about Taskmaster. It's a big who cares.
Yeah.
He's not benefiting from it. He's not losing anything from it. But you feel like, I got to do this.
Task.
I got to do this.
Alex tells me I have to do it, so I have to do it. So like it's such an elaborate, he had to have an unbroken egg on him, the same egg. Allegedly at all times, and none of the rest of the contestants had to do it.
Oh, and it's so funny. And it's this guy, it couldn't have been a better person. Joel he has the childlike wonder of a person. He's delighted to be there. He's having the best time. It's working. I think it would have been, if anybody else had gotten it, it would have been a much different story.
One of my favorite, I agree, because they would have been like, people can be like, some people can be so like,
what was your
about
specific task?
I didn't get one. So my season didn't have a one person gets singled out task. It only happens every once in a while. There was one, Mark had to text them every day. And he did it for like a year.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it means nothing. It wasn't a real task.
In the studio about
that was just
it.
a
Mark
prank.
was like, you don't understand how much of my life has been spent doing this. It's so funny. I also love Joanna Page, who's on this season, who I know from Gavin and Stacey, but like she's one of the Welshest people you'll ever meet. And there's just this like energy of a certain contestant where it's just like mom energy. Oh, yeah. It's like kooky
Rosie
mom.
Ramsey in my season
was that.
Yes.
Kooky mom energy. And they're just like, just the blend of comedians that they get is so incredible.
Yeah. She does a thing that I love on a Taskmaster season that happens only every once in a while. And I think because they are really letting her run with it, or they're including it because she's so good. And also she does a thing where she just starts telling a story. Yeah. She just starts telling a story about her life.
Yeah.
And it's all about like the time she clogged the toilet at her in-laws' house and they had to get a plunger and this and that. So that gets her into, and that's why I've brought a plunger here today. You know, and her stories are so fantastic and she's so funny. And I don't know Gavin and Stacey. So one of the things that I love about Taskmaster is it is, for me, an introduction to so many people that I previously either did not know or have only a cursory understanding of. I know what Gavin and Stacey is, never seen it.
I would say 90% of British comedians that I know from, and they're like some of my favorite, you know, like, so like, but Armando Iannucci is like one of the panelists this season.
And watching him do the goofiest stuff is so satisfying.
My discovery from your season was Fatia, who was like
incredible,
so funny, but similarly, like she could just start telling a story, and you just like let her tell her story about her Batman bedroom or whatever it is, and like it's
those
gonna be
episodes
incredible.
because we would shoot for like 3.5-4 hours,
right,
to be cut down into like 45 minutes. And a lot of it was just Fatia telling stories that were so fucking funny that they would just let her go because it was like we were enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
Great.
I also feel that like because the UK SNL that just launched, they have like a couple former Taskmaster.
They have Anya. They have
Anya.
Emma Seedy is on there.
And I'm just sort of like, I feel slightly ahead because I'm like, I know you from Taskmaster.
I know.
How
I love
exciting.
It.
Yeah.
This season is great. I'll say if you're not a Taskmaster fan, start with season 19, of course.
Obviously.
Then my other favorite seasons would be 5, 7. Sam Campbell.
I don't know my numbers. Like, what are the Sam Campbell seasons?
5 is Aisling B. and Nish Kumar and the legend Bob Mortimer.
Oh my God, incredible.
7 is James Acaster, Rod Gilbert, and that crew.
Absolutely.
Sam Campbell is 15 or 13? No, I can't remember. Somewhere in that run is Australian comedian Sam Campbell, who is one of the most unique comedic voices I've heard in a decade.
Cannot break him. Never been broken.
Have you seen Last One Laughing?
Yes, Last One Laughing is so...
Him and David Mitchell going head to head like screaming in each other's faces, not laughing, is some of the most bananas stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah. They broke the show.
Yeah. Season 1 of Last One Laughing had my favorite duo, which is Bob Mortimer, who is a full genius, and Richard Ayoade, who I think is the funniest person alive. And those two trying to break people and trying to team up and break other people or break each other.
But like watching Richard break, which never happens, but
was very
broke
good
on that show.
Yeah.
Joe Wilkinson's one of my favorite of all time, who
Incredible.
I met through Taskmaster.
Of course,
so
the potato.
Last One Laughing, like, oh my God, the potato.
The potato.
That's my favorite. That might be my favorite
that's
season.
a great one. I mean, and that's 2?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think
That's
it's
like
the second season. Yeah.
This season I think is a great ensemble. I'm very into it.
Oh my God.
I was just back in London and had lunch with my whole cast. Aww. We had the best time. The lunch lasted 9 hours. It was incredible. Crazy.
Can I just tell you, maybe to like get you into Jason's season of his lure is not enough for you. One of his co-panelists, Matthew Bainton, is wearing the shortest shorts that have ever existed. You pick one outfit.
Like Paul Mescal shorts?
Shorter.
Did you watch British Ghosts?
No.
Okay.
He's so funny. And like, he, other than you, he was the other person I was most familiar with on
Yes.
on
well,
your
he
season.
is like a superstar.
Super famous. Yeah.
Know.
But he's you pick like an outfit, and sometimes it's like a super weird outfit. You know, like Noel Fielding is, like wearing that yellow boiler suit sort of thing.
Phil Wang's wearing like the jumpsuit,
the Kill Bill
jumpsuit, or the Bruce Lee jumpsuit.
You pick like one thing to wear for all your tasks for like continuity reasons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Matthew picked the shortest shorts known to men, and some of these tasks make you like crawl around on the ground and do all this stuff, and they just had to like blur out his balls.
his nuts are falling out. Constantly. And he's the most embarrassed man. He is like, he's mortified, but it's happening constantly.
Those are short.
Oh boy, it's so funny.
Oh, they're a little too loose around the leg.
They're like runner's shorts.
That's why the nuts are just like constantly flopping out.
It's incredible. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
He made me laugh so hard.
I'm so sorry. I could talk about Taskmaster.
It's a great season. My season is probably the best season that's ever been. But but no, please, everybody should watch Taskmaster. Start right now, and it's the beauty of the show is all of it, and in its entirety, every episode is on YouTube for free.
Yes,
so you can access it immediately.
You can get caught up at any time.
It's great.
So good.
I want to thank you for the recommendation on this show of Lovesick.
Yes.
Or Scrotal Recall, as I heard it was called.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Fantastic.
Oh my God, it's so
obsessed.
Good.
I think that me and Daniel Ings.
There's an S on the end.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he and I need to be in something together being absolute lunatics.
Do you feel like he kind of stole your look, your swag?
Not at all.
With the curls?
I mean, he looks great. It's not my look. I thought he looked great, though.
He would have been a great laughing storm.
If I could pull off a British accent. I was asked to audition for the Lord of the Rings. Not the Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Asked to audition for Rings of Power with a very specific British accent. I was told with this British accent. I was like, okay, great. So I hired a dialect coach. I did 2 sessions with the dialect coach, like 2 hours each session. And at the end of the second one, she was like, I don't think you got it. And I was like, I agree with you.
Can we hear it?
Not even remotely. You can't. No, because I can't do it at all. And I literally called my agents and I was like, yeah, you can turn it down. There's just no way. We're not going to get there. And truthfully, I was like, I'm underwater, with that. I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Now I'm just devastated that we don't have you on Rings of Power.
I know,
though.
right? Wouldn't that be funny?
What if you had gone in and just made a completely different choice? You could have been the megawatt of Rings of Power.
Yeah, if I'd done it as like a rat-a-tat-tat.
Top of the world. Yeah,
exactly. I'm a star.
Oh, wow.
The grandeur. The grandeur
of Middle Earth.
Hey, Galadriel here? Yeah, were you going to be Halbrand?
I was in Guys and Dolls. I could do this.
Oh man, what a treat this was!
Oh my God,
come on! Come back?
Well, I'll come back whenever you want me.
All right.
Whenever you want me. I mean, there's so many things to talk about.
Yeah, we don't want to. I mean, we want you back for Shadow Lord season 2, but we don't want to wait.
No, let's. We can do it before that.
Yeah,
we've got stuff on the horizon. I mean, you bring me in whenever you want.
What are you most excited for the rest of this year
What's
in the Nerdverse?
That's a good question. What's in the hype right now?
We've got the Odyssey coming. We've got a Spider-Man movie. We've got Hot D, which you already said, eat shit, Hot D.
I'm super excited for the Odyssey.
Lanterns,
I'm genuinely curious about. Lanterns is one that, for me, I'm like, it could go great, or it could be kind of just a whatever. Yeah. If it's a whatever, that's disappointing. But if it works, I'm a little nervous. I will say I'm a little nervous, but I have high hopes. Star Wars I'm always looking for more Star Wars.
Of course.
But boy, it's tough. It's tough out here. Now that Andor's over, it's tough out here to be looking forward to Star Wars stories right now. Yep. I still wish we would get the Damon's original script, the Lakeith Stansfield.
Protestant Reformation inside of the Force. Yeah.
There's a lot that I want Star Wars to do that I just don't think. I mean, I'm still waiting for Dark Disciple. I'm still waiting for a Quinlan Vos appearance. There's people and stuff that I'm interested in, but nothing right now that I'm like, I can't wait for them to do this, because it doesn't seem like they want to do this.
Where are you on the other DC stuff? You excited for Supergirl, Clayface?
Supergirl, I'm super excited for. I loved that book. I thought that book was incredible. So I'm very excited for that, just conceptually. I think if they do a good job adapting that book, I think it's great. I'm excited. I mean, I'm very much enjoying James Gunn's DC.
Yeah.
So from Creature Commandos to Superman, like TV, film, like I think so far I'm very satisfied. Marvel.
Yeah, where's your Doomsday hype?
Not.
Do you check the countdown clock every single day?
I don't know jack about Doomsday. I'm like out. It's not that I'm out.
What about the Vision show? I'm very excited about that.
Super
Paul
curious.
Bettany, yeah.
Of course, I'm super curious about what that'll be
fun.
because I think they are and let me be clear. I loved Wonder Man. I thought Wonder Man was terrific in a way that I was like, do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about the larger story or the multiverse or the this or the that. Just tell me a story about characters. Give me a slice of life. And I mean, I really appreciated also that it was like out of work, struggling actors in Hollywood. Like so much of it rang true. But trying to do a self-tape.
Your self-tape?
Oh my God. It was so good. And I think he's dynamite.
Malls that they were going to, I was like,
incredible.
As a new LA resident.
Joey Pants' house.
Yeah. Oh my God. So funny. And I thought he was so good. Yahya?
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought he was so good. And then Flip, I'm watching him now in the Man on Fire series, which is, he's incredible in that, in a completely different lane. I thought he was fantastic in Ambulance. I think he's great. But like the 1-2 punch in this year of Wonder Man and Man on Fire are incredible. This guy is fantastic.
Because Wonder Man he was so stealthily like funny and like
and
how seriously,
insecure
seriously he took himself was so funny. And then I imagine Man on Fire is not a laugh a minute.
Not at all. It's just a action shoot 'em up, it's based on the movie. It's, it's a prequel for the Denzel character in that movie. And it's fantastic in that way that like all of the uncle shows that I watch. Right. Your Bosch's, your Justified, your all those shows that I will shout out the best show on television that nobody's watching or talking about. I don't think you guys would cover it, but I'm still shocked that the Watch isn't covering it. Is Dark Wind. Is the Tony Hillerman books is unreal. I think this show is Zahn McClarnon is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That single episode of Westworld, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All of his stuff in Fargo, unreal. And this show, he is exceptional.
Yeah.
And should be winning every award if awards mattered, which they don't.
Right.
But he is electric to watch in this show. And the show is phenomenal.
Which season was Robert Redford showed up for like...
Him and George R. R. Martin are in a prison cell in season 3 at the beginning of season 3.
Yeah.
It's great. That show I think is a absolutely phenomenal watch, and a world that is just every season they are excavating more and more of these stories and more of these characters, and servicing a procedural kind of whodunit every time, and it's awesome.
Excellent.
Make Chris and Andy talk about it.
These fucking idiots.
You have the power.
I thought they started with that show.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if they kept up with it, but I know they started
Okay, they better.
What would feel worse if they hadn't started or they had and they hadn't told you?
By the way, the latter. The latter, because it took me a couple of years to get Chris to watch Shoresy. I recommended it so many times because of sports.
Yeah.
I was like, I think you'd like this. It's sports.
Have you heard of sports? This show does it, but Canadian.
Sports.
Jason, thank you so much.
This was such a treat. Such a pleasure. You're the best.
This is one of my absolute favorite shows. I listen to you guys. I spend so many hours a week with you both in my ears. It is truly absolutely wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Here's my last question for all of us. Lamorne Morris, Emmy winner. Lamorne Morris.
For Fargo, right?
Fantastic in this. Jake Johnson, incredible in the Spider-Verse movies. What is Max Greenfield's to round out?
Oh, great question.
Which the new girl,
which Peter
trio,
should he be?
Which Spider project is for him?
That's a great question.
Boy.
HobbitsandDragons@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Sony, are you listening? Put Max Greenfield in a Spider joint.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah. He deserves it.
He'd be great.
Yeah, he would.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Come back soon. And thank you not only to Jason, obviously, for being such a wonderful guest today. What a treat this was. Thank you to the rest of the crew. Carlos, Scott, Jacob, CT, Arjuna, Jomi, the whole gang helping us out as always. We will be back next week for an already out of date, but still sincerely enthusiastic 2026 Summer Hype Meter. Joe will have a Lestat primer and a fictional musical bands episode.
It's more of like a fictional bands episode. Less Lestat primer, more a very musical House of
Priming
R.
you for the mood of watching Sam Reed as Lestat.
Correct.
Sing while covered in scars on stage.
Correct.
And then we'll be talking about
Did you go to the concert?
It's no.
Next week, right?
Next week.
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. Okay.
She'll be there in spirit.
I will.
She'll be there in spirit. All right, come back soon.
Can't wait.
It's
it's too big to hold with one hand.
Oh.
That's what
you know what this is
Oh,
for?
God.
Exactly. It's the people who do the memes about like they read a line from Romantasy and it's like, it was so big, I couldn't hold it in one hand. And then they're holding like a jar of pickles and it's like, that's not a thing. That's what this water bottle is like. And then the straw is not soft and supple. It's like really hard.
Okay, now it's trending back to Romantasy.
Isn't it always?
The soft, supple straw.
That's how it should be.
I
but
wrap my lips around this soft, supple straw.
It's rock hard and
Gently
not in a good
sucked.
way. All right,
But by the way,
normal.
what?
Karma.
Not karma. I think Joanna's water bottle just came.
Time comes for us all.
Joanna's water bottle is so horny from your water bottle.
What the fuck just happened?
Wow. This is what House of R is all about.
Can someone come help, please?
This is in the show, right? I'm assuming this
We are
better all
filming,
be in
so
the show.
This can be the stinger.